What is going on, everybody? It is episode 441 of Pop Culture Crisis. My name is Brett. I am here with my co-host. Would you introduce yourself, please?
Hi, Crisis Actors. It's Mary. I am really excited for this episode because we have a great couple of guests on the show with us. Introduce yourselves, please.
Start. Hey guys, I'm Bella of Mostly Peaceful Latinas. We're political and cultural commentators and activists and all around free-thinking cultural activists, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
And introduce yourself.
Hi guys, I'm Linda on the other half of Mostly Peaceful Latinas. We have a podcast every Thursday now at 9:30 p.m. where we give you unpopular opinions about clown world and anything else.
You'll get used to that. You'll get used to that. So every time a super chat comes through,
oh, nice.
Money does get sprayed everywhere.
Love
so
that. Love that.
It's just so it's literally the audience throwing money at you guys.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So
we call that champagne showers sometimes.
Yeah.
Love that for us.
We make it rain in Miami also. But yeah, thank you so much for having us, and we look forward to a great conversation.
yeah, we got a bunch of stuff to talk about today. Before we get started, guys, would you hit the like button on this video, and would you subscribe to this channel if you have not done so already? Remember, all super chats $20 and over. We will interrupt the discussion. We will read that super chat right then and there. We will do our very best to get back on topic. I have a feeling, based on the conversation beforehand.
Yeah.
It won't be easy.
This is going to be hectic. That's all I'm saying. I'm not being biased. I'm not being sexist. I'm just saying it's going to be a hectic one today. I have a feeling. So we got a bunch. Yeah, see, she's got the shirt right there. So we got a bunch of stuff to talk about today. We're going to talk about the fact that Dillon Danis has continued to end Logan Paul's career many times over. It seems like he just won't relent right up until the birth of his own child. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the fact that Taylor Swift is now breaking box office records on top of all the other records she's breaking, and it calls back to the statement I made last week about Hollywood succeeded with Barbie. They found an audience, and the only audience bigger if they're looking to capitalize on female box office, on females spending money, is to find things that women actually like, and something that women actually seem to like is Taylor Swift. So we're going to talk about that. We're also going to talk about Playboy Bunny doesn't like Hugh Hefner. Shocking, right? Crystal Hefner has got some stuff to say in her it's a new autobiography in which she talks about.
She's in the memoir stage of her life where
they always go through the memoir stage.
Yeah, you as a young woman, you take advantage of the fact you can use your beauty to attain power in the world, and then you make a memoir later on about how you regret everything and how it was everyone else's fault that you made mistakes.
I was a 25-year-old teenager, and they
I was like, I forgot about the money.
It's gonna keep happening. Eventually, you get used to it. Guys, if you want to continue to scare the ladies, you're allowed to keep doing that. Please do that.
Where'd you guys get your mugshot shirts, by the way?
We actually brought you one.
Oh, really?
Store. Yeah,
Yes, we brought you guys some shirts.
We have a Free My Boy Trump mugshot shirts. If you guys want, you can go to Wake Up with Linda and get some. Made in the USA. So the thing about conservatives is that they don't always make really cool merch. Not even Trump made cool merch. Yeah. And my followers, especially during quarantine, I made like really cool stuff about like anti-mask and whatever. So they're like, you're gonna make merch, and I was like, I don't know, but if you guys want me to, I will. So we have these cool Free My Boy.
Did you guys hear the First Day Out song that Hi-Rez made? The AI song of Trump singing.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
All over TikTok, by the way.
Yeah. Incredible. So we got a bunch of other stuff to get into. So if you ladies are ready, we will just get right into it. Linda, are you ready?
I'm ready.
We're ready.
I'm
Let's
excited.
do this. All right. First things first. That picture so creepy. Doja Cat has a new album coming out, and she's posting pictures that are what I think people would call utterly demonic. Yes?
Yeah, not new for Doja Cat. I still think she's just trying way too hard to be edgy and shocking, and it's not shocking anyone. She's still got the shaved head, the shaved eyebrows. And I watched her new music video for the song Demons.
With Christina Ricci, right?
Yeah, Christina Ricci was in the music video.
Casper was
very on brand.
Casper was
I agree.
a masterpiece.
Yeah. I just saw a
Seven
tweet.
Sawa was my first love.
I saw a tweet the other day that said, it says, Every girl since the age of 12 has been waiting for Devon Sawa to come up to them and say, "Can I keep her?" And they've been chasing that feeling ever since.
Yeah.
That's probably accurate.
That was like a very telling moment in like my coming of age, right? Like that moment.
Gentlemen, I'm giving you that advice for free. You can use that one. You can go ahead and you may not look like Devon Sawa, but you can go ahead and try. I also thought it was weird how it's like Casper looks like really little, but like the kid's supposed to be 12 years old. I just rewatched the end of that thing.
I was like, you're remembering a lot of details.
No, I just rewatched the end of it the other day because I was talking to someone because her dad in that was the president in the movie Independence Day. Yeah, Bill Pullman. And I was watching the end of it. I was like, oh man, movies were so much more wholesome back in the day.
They were. It was a different time back then.
Really,
we don't have any. Like, do kids even have Devon Sawas? Like now they just have like Andrew Tate.
No, they've got like they're still.
Who is it?
I have no who would be considered the Stranger Things kids when they were young.
You think?
Would have been
Finn
those actors.
Wolfhard?
Yeah. Devon Sawa did a bunch of stuff though. He was in Little Giants. If anybody here ever saw the movie Little Giants, about it's Rick Moranis.
Iconic.
Yeah. He's like a football coach, and Ed O'Neill is his brother, and his brother's just a dick to him the whole movie because he was a big football star, and
Whatever happened to Rick Moranis?
He retired because his wife died. His wife died, so he quit acting to take care of his kids. And then what's sad about it is like he was going to come out of retirement like next year, and like I guess he was like being seen in public for the first time in years, and he just got bodied in New York City by some dude just like playing the knockout game.
No way.
What?
Yeah, just like dropped like 2 weeks after he's like, Rick Moranis is back, and everyone's like, I loved Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, and then
oh my god,
yeah, and then some dude just knocks him out on the side.
Honey, I Shanked the Kids.
Yeah,
More
exactly.
iconic movies.
Yeah, so I doubt Rick Moranis listens to Doja Cat though.
I don't know how we got there, but we did.
I was talking about Devon Sawa. We were talking about
Devon Sawa. We've come a long way, but yeah, Christina Ricci, and that was great too. Yeah. It was a great. Casper was great. To the conversation.
I swear.
To me, the Doja Cat thing is that the whole like Satanist demon worshipping thing has already become such a norm in the industry that I don't think people are shocked by it. There's no shock value to it anymore because we're just so used to seeing it.
Sam Smith and Kim Petras.
And what was
it's try hard. It's super try hard. If you know how much work goes into making those productions come to life, it's a bunch of like blue collar dudes building sets so that you can look cheap and lame.
You can only
set.
paint yourself with grease paint so many times before we're kind of over it. You know, like, okay, we get it. You're really edgy, unpredictable. You're crazy.
Somebody else called her out, like a famous black entertainer.
Yeah,
posted it today in Hollywood. I don't know if it was Tony, like an older black entertainer. I think it was Tony Braxton. Saying
really?
that I think it was her. I would double check with Hollywood Unlocked, but she was basically saying that she's getting to the stage of her career of fame where they start doing this. Like everybody has that turning point where they start alluding to the more satanic, demonic.
Did Tony Braxton have that phase? Unbreak My Heart?
I don't know. I mean, she's not relevant anymore, so I would think maybe she's not, right?
I mean, maybe that was less common back then. It was the metal artist that would have done it back in the day.
They also talk about a threshold that's broken, right? Like you'll only be able to attain like a certain level of organic success, or at least that's what the people who talk about this stuff say, that there's only a certain level of organic success that you'd be able to achieve, and then at some point you're asked to do something that's completely demonic or standard of the industry, and if you choose not to do it, we had a lot of there's a lot of black comedians that have spoken about how they were it's a standard for at some point in your career to be asked to a humiliation ritual where you have to wear a dress and dress like a woman.
They did it with The Rock. They did it with, but they've done it with
everyone,
like with John Cena, and they were talking about how all of the actors, especially the hypermasculine ones, they want to do that to hypermasculine ones like John Cena because they want to embarrass the idea of masculinity, and it's like putting them in their place.
A lot of people thought that about the Oscar slap.
Yeah.
That it was kind of like a humiliation ritual. I mean, hadn't he been through enough already with the what was it that she called her affair?
The entanglement.
Yeah. You'd think he had been through enough, but you have Dave Chappelle has actually spoken about this, how that's why he left the industry.
Yep.
That he was that he had always had it as a standard role where he wasn't going to dress like a woman. That wasn't something that he was going to do. He had seen Martin do it, Jamie Foxx do it, and he just wasn't going to put himself through that. And then they cornered him in a movie that he was doing, and they wanted him to put on this dress, and he was like, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. And then they already had the alternative scene rewritten where he wouldn't have worn a dress. And he talks about, he's like, it was so like, you knew that I wasn't going to do that. So why would you apply this pressure to me? And that's why he left the industry as a result of what he claims. He's like, we were, you know, this was, they were going to force me to do this, and it goes against my ideology.
So weird.
Yep. I mean, that's good that he pushed back though. Like, it's really, really depressing to know, because it's one of those things where unless you actually hear or you point to some of the interview of him saying that, people are going to call you like a conspiracy theorist.
Oh, of course.
Because the average person isn't going to assume malice when anybody has half a brain understands that Hollywood is malice.
Correct.
In every way, shape, or form. So it's really, really depressing to see that happen with music, but somehow I think they get away with it more because it's of the performance aspect of it. Right, so it's seen as like it's very easy for a normie to be like, it's not that deep, bro. Leave it alone.
All of the normies in the comments of her music video were saying like, Doja is so ahead of her time. You guys just don't get her yet. Like she's doing something that's never been done before.
No, just like it was done just a couple of months ago. What's this guy?
It was done a couple of weeks ago. Yeah, like, it was done every day.
Satan shoes. Who was the guy? What's his name?
Lil Nas X.
The Little Nas. Satan shoes. Like, what are we doing?
Marilyn
like blood inside.
Marilyn Manson has done it.
But even when you talk about like rock bands and stuff like that, like it's always been edgy. That's always. But we're talking about pop now. Like major pop artists are
she
embracing
resents being seen as a mainstream pop artist or rap artist.
Didn't she have some really nasty things to say about her fans recently? Or she said like, I don't.
She always has something.
She's like, I don't love you guys, and stop calling yourselves kittens. That's cringy.
Or she also said like she was just gonna leave her tour like halfway through, and she was in, where was she, like Spain or something like that.
She went to Peru, and there were to be fair to her, there were a lot of people like being racist to her there because she wouldn't come out of her hotel and take selfies with people.
Yeah, no,
so,
this is really scary.
That would piss me off too. But yeah.
All right, guys. I also want to make a quick mention of Disney because Disney sucks. They seem to be juicing the numbers on Ahsoka just a tiny bit. They're saying that they have 14 million viewers, which is only 13.8 million less than what Samba TV, which is a third-party affiliate, says. And I'm going to take the third party's word, who doesn't have a reason to sell me on high viewership.
I thought they said 1.2.
Yeah, Samba TV said 1.2.
Yeah.
Disney did not say 1.2. Samba TV is a third. Like basically, it's kind of like Nielsen for streaming. Like if you like back in the day,
there's no way you would jump from 1 million to 14 million on accident.
But they're getting sued for lying about their streaming numbers to their investors. Very, very shocking. Basically, their stock is still at essentially an all-time a 9-year low, which is really, really bad for a company that said that they were going to do really, really good once they got rid of Bob Chapek and brought back in Bob Iger. And it's like they were saying that they were going to get. What's up?
That I was saying that I didn't think that Bob stuff would make a difference.
No. I mean, Bob Iger was the one who pushed them in that direction anyways.
Exactly.
Long before the 2020s.
As Floridians, what's your take on all of that? The war between Disney
and the war on Disney
and DeSantis.
Yeah.
It's all PR. That war's not going to go anywhere. It hasn't gone anywhere. In fact, the only things that have happened have been beneficial to Ron DeSantis, who changed some of the board members to personal friend of his as favors to gain endorsements for his presidential campaign. So for us, it's just been a huge waste of taxpayer dollars. You don't win the culture wars by having Ron DeSantis go against a private company. You win them by you as a consumer making the decision not to buy any more Disney stuff, whether it's watching movies, cartoons, or whatnot. And it should be an individual choice. We think it's unfortunate because it's also setting a precedent where if you want to solve the problem, then create legislation that would affect all companies. Don't go out and bully Disney. And I know people feel really strongly about that because they're like, oh, well, Disney grooms kids. Okay, we can agree that might potentially be the case. But you don't, that startles me, but you don't do that by signing EOs and going after them. Work with your legislators to pass legislation that stops grooming in general coming from any company, not just Disney in the state of Florida. So for us, we think it's an absolute, the first ones to call it out.
We were really big fans of DeSantis. We supported him. We helped his campaign. I actually directly communicated with Christina Pusha and helped her with content for the War Room and
research.
And so we started seeing that a lot of the stuff that he was doing was actually PR, and Disney was the biggest one. Actually, I think it was 2 to 3 weeks ago where they asked him again, hey, like, what's happening with Disney? He's like, oh, that's the talk of the past. Like, we don't care about that. Like,
no
you know,
one
we're
cares.
just
Makes
like,
good
it doesn't
headlines.
matter. It doesn't matter. We'll just move forward. Like, there's, you know, and it's just like, but that's what we said. And that's what Trump said too. Like, and then they twisted around Trump's words to say, well, you know, he was actually just trying, like, Trump just supports Disney and, like, you know, pedophiles and all this stuff and grooming up kids. It's like the entire thing was a PR stunt to make DeSantis look more right wing, more based. And, like, now what's happening is Disney's suing the state of Florida, and they actually have a lot of grounds to win, because what they're going to argue in court is that the state or DeSantis went after Disney for freedom of speech, right?
We got a $20 one right there.
It's just from Tony Guevara saying "re."
I think he wants the voice higher when you say it in that one. How do you feel about the Bud Light boycott then?
I feel like
we
it
think
was
that's
really
fine.
effective.
Very effective.
So I come from a beer background. Before
A beer background, you say?
Yeah, I used to work for Heineken. I was in the liquor industry.
Okay.
All right.
I was in corporate for a while, so I have a pretty good understanding of, like,
Do you understand what these HR people are like?
I've been in human resources
but
for the
I
last 15
also-
years of my
Really?
career.
I
Yeah.
also
It's
don't-
always women in
So we have a
damn
beer
resource
expert and a human resources
resources
expert
expert.
together here.
Disney could have Bud Light could have used you guys
Yeah.
like a couple of months ago.
Brought you in for.
Well, I mean, it looks like they needed more marketing consultation than
Yes.
anything
Yeah,
else when
yeah.
it comes to those decisions. But you know, I think that what made the Bud Light boycott different is that it was led by the people. We're not talking about, you know, one politician making a move against Bud Light. We, the people, spoke out against Bud Light, stopped buying it, and as a result, it's not served anywhere. Is if we as a people went out there and stopped consuming Disney, the same thing, which actually it has happened. People have stopped consuming Disney's, which is why Disney
their
shares
movies
have tanked.
5 out of their 6 movies that have released this year have all lost money.
Correct.
So
So we are making a difference. But, you know, just to kind of wrap up the whole thing about DeSantis and those culture wars in Florida is that we've seen them not go anywhere. There are 2 restaurants or bars in Miami in specific that were targeted by Ron DeSantis, where they hosted drag shows that were kid friendly. And Ron DeSantis said, we're going to go after this restaurant. It was the Art House in Wynwood and the Hyatt Hotel.
I exposed them at the Hyatt.
We exposed them where they're like, we're going to revoke their liquor licenses. None of these places have had their liquor licenses revoked. They continue to exist.
Okay, I remember
They
that
continue to
story.
have.
Yeah.
They continue to have drag shows. They have not stopped. So what was it? At the end of the day, there was no legislation that was passed that made drag shows in all of Florida illegal for children. That would have been a lot more conducive to making a change than just targeting 1 or 2 restaurants for hosting the drag shows and then never following through
There's
on
been
it.
more of progress on that in our county here.
Probably.
than has been in the state of Florida.
maybe when it's all
Probably.
said and done with Disney, they'll be like the Dasani of companies. Have you ever seen those? Like, I was just thinking, every time there's a hurricane and all the water's gone from the stores, it's always the Dasani that's left on the shelves. Nobody buys the Dasani.
We had to. Well, no, we actually got Fiji last night.
Yeah.
I saw something recent. Like, anytime you see Dasani in like a television show, it's like pure product placement because they know nobody actually would serve Dasani willingly.
Well, I
There's
mean,
a
they have the money for that. It's the Coke company, right? Isn't Dasani owned by the Coca-Cola company?
There's a $20 one right there, Mary.
Adam Silva said, shout out to my girls, Linda and Bella. Beware, they're only mostly peaceful.
Hi, Adam. Good to see you.
Hey,
here.
Adam.
As we are learning today, mostly peaceful, and that's good. All right, so Mary, what happened with Dave Portnoy? Because this segment is actually one of the only things that I liked from Barstool was the pizza stuff. I'm not gonna lie.
Does he own One Bite Reviews?
Yeah.
It's the review site that
Yeah.
he's doing this whole series where he goes to different small businesses, pizzerias throughout the country, and he
As
does
a fan
a review.
of diners, drive-ins, and dives.
Yeah, he's doing a Guy Fieri.
Yeah.
So he went to this one in Somerville, Massachusetts, and he rated the pizza a 6.4 out of 10. The business owner walked out and got into a massive, like, cussing out fight with him. And now he's getting bombed with 1-star reviews on his business. So it backfired pretty badly. Let's
the
just
video.
watch the altercation.
Okay, here we go.
Wow.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Dave,
Yes. enjoy your pizza as any customer, but I don't appreciate what you do coming in and judging a business with one bite.
Well, we do more. Is this your spot?
This is my spot.
Oh.
I hope you enjoy your pizza, but I don't appreciate what you do to small businesses.
Well, I help. The good news is I give
don't
you
see it that way.
terrible school. That guy. Well, Dominic, can I ask you?
Yeah.
What was his problem?
And this guy used to work
actually
there.
helped so many small
So he's not
businesses.
biased at
This
all.
bit, you know, I can say peacefully, this pizza's trash.
I did say I used to work here.
Like,
Dragon pizza's so good.
try it. Try it. Tell me it's good.
Portnoy's annoying.
It's good, and they have really good gelato and stuff. I'll try it. I just
Fair.
They just want
I'm like
to
one of your biggest fans.
Wait, the guy's about to come back out.
Just shit when I saw you.
Honest score here.
Honest score. We're literally
The girl, what are your biggest fans?
What do you think?
I thought it was bad. It was too parmy and floppy for me.
It does parme.
Yeah.
It is parme.
It is what?
Thank
Parmy.
God I
I'm too
didn't say it
nice.
was good.
I'm too nice.
I actually gave this, no joke. I try to give everybody good scores. I gave this place like maybe the worst score I've given in a long time, and then the owner came out as an asshole, so it actually worked out. I don't like floppy. I don't like
It's gotta
parmy.
be crispy.
Yeah.
crispy.
Let me be a little clearer. Move on. Don't stand in front of my business.
Let me be clear. Fuck
Let
you.
me be clear.
Fuck
Get the
you.
fuck out of
Fuck
front of my
you.
business.
Fuck you.
Dumb
It's
of
a
the year.
public
Your whole
street, you
fucking
motherfucker.
Yeah, but
it's
this
a
is my
public
business.
street. This
You can-
ain't your business.
Yeah, but this is my business. And if you
Fuck
stay
you.
here, I'm calling the
Fuck
fucking
you.
police.
He's right across the street. Go get him. What are you gonna tattle me off for standing on the public street?
Just being a fucking
Your,
bitch.
your shirt's 6 sizes too small, fatso.
Just go fuck yourself and the whole fucking platform you're on.
Oh, you don't like the platform.
You're a joke to me, dude.
You know what? You're
does
making
feel
a
Fucking
joke.
show and your fucking game and go somewhere else.
Blah, blah, blah. By the way, I've raised $50 million for small business.
You're all
clown.
talk, dude.
50
You're all
million?
talk.
Was that all talk?
Yeah, kind of like that New York Times article.
Here we
breaking down.
go.
This has
Here
to
we
be
go.
staged.
Your shirt's 6 sizes too small.
I don't care. I
Lose
work
some
hard.
weight.
You're a fucking joke.
You work hard.
Zoom in on this shirt. My man.
So
way.
full of shit.
No way.
How? Tell me how.
This is staged. There's no.
there's no way.
It's not. It's not.
It's staged.
Clown.
It's staged.
I run a business. I work hard.
I sold my
jobs.
business twice. 100 million, 400 million, bought back for $1. That's a clown?
Everything since I got in this business that you represent is an embarrassment
Like
to this
what?
business.
Like raising 50 million for small business?
Everything.
Name it.
Everything.
Name it.
Everything.
You
I
haven't
don't
named
play
one
your
thing.
game.
You haven't named one thing.
I make pizza. It's great.
It sucks,
You're
actually.
a fucking joke.
Name one thing. Name one thing, asshole.
You've given up too. I've given up too much of my time.
All you've said is everything, name one thing.
You're a fucking
Name
joke.
one
man.
thing. Clown.
I love $1 million worth of game.
The best.
That was.
I like how
ugly.
That
Johnny
guy's
is
angling for a
slide
job.
right back in
this-
like
he
mid-combo.
is. This.
Great
I know it looks like
This
it was
guy ain't great.
staged.
That was nobody
I know
in
it
the
looks
history
like it
of
was staged.
arguments has ever said that New York Times article.
No, but
No.
he's on his own social media right now, like saying like I really got Dave Portnoy, like thinking that he won the fight.
That he owned Dave Portnoy.
Yeah, and Dave Portnoy just went on Tucker Carlson and explained how it all went down. And he's happy that this guy's business is gonna.
Oh,
shut
that's
down.
terrible though. I
But
want
he has helped more businesses than he's hurt.
Yeah, he really
So
has.
it's okay to just dunk on this dude because the guy's just.
But the dude that came out of the
dude
pizzeria started it.
They're both stupid. But I also I find
Why don't you like
I find
Dave Portnoy?
annoying. But that's
Why?
he's just annoying.
He's gonna come after you now.
Darn.
Oh no.
He is a little bit
yikes.
annoying. He is a little bit annoying. I get it. I stopped following him after
The Roe versus the Roe v. Wade.
What was that?
he was like very like pro-abortion.
Very pro-abortion.
Which you know, I respect if that's your like, you know,
It's his right to an opinion
whatever.
or whatever.
But the thing is, he went about it like the wrong way. Like I'm trying to remember what he did.
Who was he? He was criticized. Somebody had come up super. I'm trying to remember what it was too, but he was speaking out against somebody who was pro-life.
Yeah.
And he was you know, it's just he was really
was
rude
trying to
about
remember.
it, and
But I mean, that's what a barstool conservative is.
Yeah.
They're
Right.
not socially conservative. They're
Yeah.
like fiscally
Right.
conservative and socially liberal, like to the extreme.
Please
That's
don't
what
ever
that
call
is.
me that.
You're not a barstool conservative, right? You're just a liberal.
Yeah, and I like that guy though. That guy just wants a job. I'm all for that guy just shooting his shot to get a job.
Yeah,
with
Dom of the
Dave
year.
Portnoy.
He's gonna get a job out of
I'm
this.
cool with that. I'm cool with that.
Yeah,
So-
well, the owner is out of control because you have the right to review whatever you want.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, you can't get mad
Yeah,
that like
see,
somebody
Brad,
thought that your service wasn't great.
I just think it's cringy and it looked fake.
He's
to me.
gonna go on Reddit. Am I the asshole?
It felt
Ask everyone.
It felt fake to me. Like
It does feel fake,
yeah.
but I think there are still a lot of people that read New York Times like it's gospel.
The guy also does wear a Target Star Wars shirt that is several sizes too
in
small.
with a belt.
So but it's like, at the same, like, I'm always gonna, like, if it is between the ridiculously smarmy, annoying rich dude and the guy who's just trying to run his business, I'm gonna I'll give the guy running his business the benefit of the doubt based on subjective analysis of some douchebag's opinion on pizza.
Wow.
That's just
classist Brett.
That's well, no, it's
or commie Brett.
Yeah, that's commie Brett. Apparently,
get ready to celebrate Labor Day.
Take that,
commie
proletariat.
holiday.
All right, guys. And in news for bad decisions being made, we have this picture of this poor lady who should not have listened to her boyfriend. She splurged on 130,000 pounds, I guess. Would that be pounds? For leg extension surgeries. And I just talked about this recently. Look.
That's crazy.
I'm sorry. In the face, she looks like Michaela Peterson.
Here's the picture. I haven't even shown them the picture yet. Here we go. It looks fake to me.
It's the angle that's like exaggerating it, but she actually got her legs extended.
It's the angle.
Holy crap!
Like, it doesn't match her body.
Maybe she should have been in the Barbie movie.
Yeah.
But that with the stilettos too.
Yeah.
Never wear stilettos again in your life.
She blames her boyfriend because she didn't listen to her own intuition.
Her boyfriend told her to do this, which is psychotic.
Yeah.
And she did it, which is just as psychotic. Like telling somebody.
I want to know who paid.
And then
did he
also
pay?
who admits this? Like, this is embarrassing.
Yeah.
Like, even if I did it, I would never admit that it was my boyfriend who made it.
But that's a big thing now, is for people to be like, I only did it because so and so told me to do
the
it.
victimization is so real right now. Everybody loves it.
It wasn't my choice.
Right.
I wonder if he did pay for it.
Yeah.
Or if it was hers.
He's like, I can't get her to dye her hair color, but I'll get her to.
It's definitely the angle. They took it from the bottom. So if you take it from like the bottom up.
Yeah.
The leg also just looks very big for her body.
The legs look just too big for her body. It looks, you know what, you guys know that toy in Toy Story? Wasn't there like that one toy where it was like the Barbie that they had like mixed up and it was just like the tall legs? That's what it reminds me of.
Oh my God, the tall legs, it was just the torso.
It was just the torso and the tall legs.
It's like, Chloe Grace Moretz.
Sketch Therapy says, review leg extensions, Brett. Look, I actually made this point recently on IRL. I said, like, as somebody who is short, I'm 5'5".
A short king.
Yes,
we love short kings.
There is something to me that I find utterly humiliating about the idea that you get a 4-inch leg extension, also that you're just the height of the average American male. Like, just embrace your shortcomings, so to speak.
Which the women who care about height that much will still think you're too short after you've broken your legs.
Yes.
To please them.
Absolutely.
Because you're not doing
and just
it for
caring
you.
that much about getting validation in the first place is so unattractive.
I just don't think that that's real. I think that a lot of this like idea that women just prefer men that are taller than them. The average height for women in America, I believe, is like 5'2" or something
5'4".
like that. Is
it
getting
shorter now?
lower?
I think it's 5'4".
Was it 5'4"? No, I think it's 5'2". It's either 5'2" or 5'3". I definitely don't think it's 5'4" because it was my height. I don't think so. My height or the one.
I mean, yeah, women care about.
They do care, but they want someone that's taller than them. 5'4". All right. So as long as you're the average height for a man is 5'9", correct? In America, it's 5'9".
Yeah, 5'9".
So if you're 5'4", chances are you're still gonna meet a guy that's taller than you. Yeah. To me, we talk about this topic all the time. We love short kings because we just see short guys winning all the time. Because the majority of the time, they don't they don't have their height to go based off of, so they have to do other things like develop a personality.
What I pointed out last time. I said you literally have to compensate and just actually be an interesting person.
Which then just makes you overall a better person than just some tall big for nothing guy that's just tall and doesn't.
Humble. And hopefully slightly more humble.
I can tell when tall guys are coasting on their height. I can tell immediately.
You do, however, never want to meet a short cop.
Yes.
Oh, this is true.
Bad.
A short cop. I agree with that.
They have a complex.
Yeah. I've dated a Napoleon complex before.
Yeah.
No, I swear.
So not all short guys are short kings.
No. Some are peasants. I would go more for the peasant.
You get out of you get pulled over, and the guy who gets out of the cop car doesn't come above the door of the car. You are screwed, my friend. That guy is going to do everything he can to put you in your place.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I just don't think that women really care that much. I think on dating sites it's different. Like men put a lot of value on their height, I guess, on dating sites because I guess it matters on a dating site. But in real life, I mean, have you ever really had a girl tell you you're too short? Or
no,
it's never happened. If you've got riz and you're smart and you smell good, like girls are gonna like you regardless. Like, look at Linda. Linda's Amazonian tall. She's dated plenty of short guys.
I like the idea. It's like that's the requirements for guys. Have a personality and don't smell bad. That's what you have to do. You can do it, guys.
The standard is important. Like the bar is in the center of the earth.
You gotta have riz and you gotta have a good personality. Yeah. There's a lot of guys that have a shit personality, and then they're
like, oh, it's because I'm short.
Yes, I'm short. I'm this, I'm that, and
pick a struggle.
There's right. You can't just like, it's like the ugly chicks. You know, you're gonna be like unfortunate looking and also really mean.
Yeah, like again, pick a struggle. You can't be all of that.
Like, and a hoe also like.
I just feel like short guys tend to have to depend on something other than their height, and because of it, they're usually more successful. They're in better shape. They're funnier. They smell better.
Yeah.
They smell better.
Hygiene is so important.
When you're tall, it takes more work to wash your body.
Is all the way down there on the table. Like, I have to reach down for it. They say, and they're like, it's a struggle.
They're too tall for our showers. So, you know.
All right, and in bad. So for this lady, you know, I feel bad for her because she fell victim to doing what her boyfriend wanted.
You can't reverse it now.
Can't reverse it now.
That's crazy, dude. No.
All right. Also, in more bad news for Elon Musk, his first daughter has abandoned him entirely and become a communist.
Again?
And become a communist.
Now look,
the transgender?
It should be noted that this is actually a son. That goes by a different name.
Yeah.
Goes by Jenna now.
Oh, okay, got it.
And identifies as a communist and wants nothing to do with him and his wealth. Can't relate. I mean, if I were in that position,
need to know whether she actually, if this girl does not take any of his money and he didn't pay for college or any of this stuff, then maybe sure. But if you're actually taking money from him, then you're just LARPing.
Or if she's writing a memoir, then she's still LARPing.
Yeah. She's going to live off his name.
Of course, forever. She will forever.
Well, I guess no, because she changed her name. Right?
I said again because I feel like we've been through this with her before. I feel like every time that she's like, I'm not Elon Musk's daughter anymore. Like she does this every couple of months. I feel.
Well, this was him talking about it now. Like, he's basically he feels bummed about it. Basically,
he says the rift pained him more than anything in his life since the infant death of his firstborn son, Nevada.
Yeah.
And I didn't even know about that.
Yeah.
That's really awful. But maybe that has something to do with why he's so obsessed with having more and more kids with more and more women.
He's to make sure that and this girl was going to private school. Like he said that it was a private school that turned her into a communist. So it does seem to if the conservatives if high school. If conservatives are right about one thing, maybe they're right that homeschooling is the only way you're going to keep your kid from coming out
good
a communist.
private schools still.
Yeah. So I actually exposed like the most expensive school in Miami called Miami Country Day School back in 2021.
Okay.
Because they brought a black. What was it, Bella? What are they called? Drag queen? Yes. A black drag queen dressed as a cheerleader, as a female cheerleader, to perform for the kids. And they told the students not to bring in their phones to the performance. These were 11 and 12 graders.
And don't tell your parents.
And
correct.
So then obviously
teenagers
being teenagers, they brought their phones in. They hid them. They brought them in. Yeah. And then they took videos of this male, you know, just performing for them and doing splits and twerking and doing what's called Vogue dancing, you know, like whatever that stuff is. And they posted it on TikTok. I got a hold of it. I got the scoop. I had an insider leak a bunch of, like, it was like a really,
it was a huge deal. They even fired the coordinator.
So we ended up finding out that years prior to that, they had gotten in trouble with the press because, so this is like a very elitist school. Like Messi's kids are going there. Tom Brady's kids go there. Shakira's kids go there. Like these are like top, you know, 1%.
It's a large salary for tuition alone on a yearly basis.
$60,000 to send your kids there for like middle school, you know, like that. And the parents, a lot of them who are conservatives, who are, you know, more conservative, a lot of them are Orthodox Jewish, a lot of them are Orthodox Christians, like very rich Russians and stuff. They were furious. I mean, I'm talking about, and these parents, on top of the fact that they pay so much money, they also donate to the school for the underprivileged program. So we expose all this stuff. The head of diversity and equity chair, you know how they have these DEI people. She ended up, she had to step down and leave. But to your point is that no, the private institutions sometimes are even more woke than a regular public school. But they have the access, they have more money, they bring in performance, they do stuff like it's really woke.
That's even that's like, it's one thing if your tax dollars being spent to ruin your kids, but your own actual money beyond just your tax dollars.
Were so pissed.
There's a $20 one there from Beanbag Actual with no message. Thank you, my friend.
Beanbag.
All right. What would you ladies like to see first? We have Cute of the Day and we have Cringe of the Day here. We let you guys pick the order.
Well, I'll do Cringe of the Day.
Yes.
I was
gonna say Cringe too.
Okay. All right.
This one's tailor-made for you guys.
Yeah. You guys are gonna love this one. Here we go. All right. Let's put it on screen. Let's watch this video here.
At 35, has dating gotten easier for you or harder?
Easier.
That's the one I told you about.
Why is that?
Yeah.
I care about myself a little more. Before, I was more thinking about what everybody else wants, and then that wasn't working. So now I know what I want, so it's easier.
Do you think a man is more likely to take you serious now at 35 than when you were 23?
I think it's the same. I don't see a difference.
So what do you think men prefer?
It all depends. Some men like women that are independent and they can go at the same level with them to do things. Other men just like vulnerable women that can be with them for like a few hours and then get rid of them. So it all depends on where they are.
So what do you look for in a guy in Miami?
Oh, nothing. I don't even date here. I go to Europe or some other somewhere outside of Miami. Miami's a whole different world because there's so many women. And they're so easy and it's like so like available that it's pointless.
Do you find that you're competing a lot with the younger woman?
Nah, they had nothing on me.
Okay.
Their practical responses were what kept doing him in.
He's like, wow, they're not chronically online like me.
Yeah, that's actually.
This is so representative of Miami, by the way. Yeah. This woman right here is so representative of Miami, and I agree. This clip is tailor-made. So one of the things that we've noticed, I'm 37 years old. One of the things that I notice a lot about the red pill that sticks out to me with these kinds of conversations that take place is that there's a lot of people in their 20s that have this kind of opinion. Yeah. I would understand if a 24-year-old man it says that he prefers a woman his age over a woman that's 35, and why they would think that 35 is as old as you could possibly get. Yeah. I too thought that 35 was as old as somebody could get when I was 20 years old. So I get that part. But the reality is, as a woman who is over the age of 35, who has a big, vast network of women in the same age, there is not one woman.
They're gonna be
correct, because then they're gonna say, like, I'm married, I'm not post-war. I know the conversations. Most of these women, when you ask them, at what age was the dating market more responsive to you? I'm not going to say when they felt more desirable, or at what point did you feel that you were getting hit on the most? Yeah. Every single last woman will tell you 30 years old. Yeah. They tell you 30 because at 30, you're not too old for the guys that are in their 20s, and you're not too young for the guys that are in their 40s or in their 50s. So at 30, women actually end up, at least, well, I was already dating my husband at the time, but it's at 30 was when women, opposed to what men say that they're more attracted to women, I'm sure that they are more attracted to women in their 20s if you're given, I want to understand the test of these studies, right? If you're being shown pictures and you're like, oh, who's the most attractive person? Yeah, I'm sure that maybe you would find the qualities in those girls that are 20-something-year-old. But the problem of a lot of these people that exist on the internet and have these kinds of opinions where they feel that women lose their value after 30 is that they don't exist in the real world. And in the real world, your options are limited to what you have available to you.
Yeah, so you can reach. That's what we always tell our followers. Like, you need to date within your reach. So like, if you only make a certain salary a year, I don't know, let's say like 50,000, why would you go to the most expensive bars on South Beach and spend $40 on a drink and then have to buy the girl, you know, a cocktail? Like, go to a place where you can afford.
What did Jay-Z say? He said, don't, if you can't buy it twice, don't buy it.
Thank you. One moment, please. We also have a $20 one to read.
Yes. Hold on. We'll read that one out. It's party time. Thank you, Ian. Thank you, Phil.
Okay, Nathaniel Wilkerson said,
don't
I
worry
watch a
about
ton
that.
of pods. PCC is my favorite. Pizza Guy needs to read the room. Portnoy is insufferable. That seems to be the consensus here as well.
Portnoy sucks.
Yeah.
Porta potty.
I don't even have an opinion on him. I just saw people said like Tucker should rename his podcast interviewing uninteresting degenerates.
I would actually probably watch a podcast called Interviewing. If it was called Interesting Degenerates, I'd probably at least listen to it.
No, but it's just uninteresting ones now.
No. All right. And now we do also have Cute of the Day, ladies and gentlemen. So if you do submit, remember, hashtag PCC Pets, tag me or Pop Culture Crisis in it, but I will always get it if you tag me in it. First things first, here is from Crimeval, Crimveal on Twitter, says, submitting my doggos, they have become the shadows thanks to a thunderstorm. Cotton, white, Buddy, golden brown, Bella, black, black, brown, and white. So we have people submit their pets here because people love to show off their pets.
I love it. We're
One of
pet
them's
people.
named Bella.
Look at
I love it.
Oh, that's cute.
Adorable.
Love it.
Storms will do that to them too.
We're big
That
dog
doesn't happen to
people.
cats. Bucko doesn't give a crap if it's.
I know cats that have been afraid of storms.
Bucko
Yeah.
does not give a crap about the storms. Bucko will sit right outside.
He's not fazed by anything.
No,
though.
he's not.
Are your cats scared of storms?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They hide. Yeah. Absolutely.
Bucko is the cat that resides here is very, very stoic.
Where did anyone get the idea that I hate Tucker Carlson from what I said?
What did you say?
They're like, Mary hates Tucker. You can't win.
Did you see the meme I sent you the other day of child Tucker reviewing ice cream? Talking about ice cream is amazing.
No, and I love Tucker Carlson.
All right,
just saying.
here we go. We got a couple more here. This is from Melissa Lynn on Twitter. It says, this little cutie is BB. She is my best friend's 13-year-old Boston Terrier Chihuahua mix. She was rescued from a neglect situation in 2020. She's now living her best life. Cheers to Angela and Jeremy for rescuing her.
Love that.
Imagine if
Adorable.
that happened to you. Like, as a person, you just get, like, adopted and taken care of and treated like royalty for the rest of your life.
Wouldn't that
Oh
be
my
nice?
goodness. They live the best life.
All right, and we got one more here. This is from Amenthi on Twitter. It says, this is our golden retriever,
goodness.
Clark. He's 1.5 years old now, but I don't have any good recent photos of him on my phone, so enjoy these baby photos from last year. That is...
That looks like a stung by a bee.
Yes.
He's so
Pose.
adorable.
Ew.
Adorable. All right, guys, remember, submit him to tag me and Pop Culture
cute.
Crisis in the Twitter and to do hashtag PCC Pets if you want to submit them. Mary,
got
there's
a
one more.
$20.
Yep, from Lord Crimson TV.
Haven't had a Brett recommends in a minute, so here is a Crimson recommends. Big George Foreman on Netflix was pretty good. Also, Brett, did you watch Killer Sofa yet?
No, I have not, but I do have a Brett recommends for you because I went and saw The Equalizer 3 last night, and as you know, Denzel Washington can do no wrong.
You offered for me to go as well, and I
She
was
had
like,
no interest.
oh.
It ended up being more. I mean, the violence ended up bordering on gore, which I kind of enjoyed in the movie. But I'm in general, I'm such a fan of Denzel Washington that everybody who gave the movie fair critiques said that it dragged in places and only had a couple of really big action scenes. But the movie suffers a little bit when Denzel's off screen because he's the reason you go to see a movie like that. 75% of the movie is in Italian, so it's a lot of subtitles because the whole movie
That's
takes
kind of
place.
annoying.
The movie's shot. It's beautiful. It's on location in Italy, and it's really, really good. So, like, if you're a fan of either that franchise or Denzel, I think you'd enjoy going to see that movie.
Nice.
If you're up in the air about it, you might want to wait till streaming.
Someone
but,
said Denzel sucks.
somebody banned Callie Almighty in the chat.
He's actually based, right?
No,
Denzel.
no, Denzel is Denzel himself. Yeah, I mean, I think he's religious. So he's old. He's not going to be on Twitter. He's not going to be out here talking about stuff. It seems like he knows how to keep his. Same with like Morgan Freeman and James Earl Jones.
Yeah.
They're lucky enough to be just incredible performers who have been kind of grandfathered into Hollywood without having to like prostrate themselves before you with some type of social agenda.
Right.
And I'll watch anything he does. So whoever said that in there, feel free to shame them for saying Denzel sucks. I say.
Shame.
Shame.
Yeah, shame button. Shame.
All right, guys. I want to talk about you guys for a little bit here because you guys run a podcast. Obviously, you are heavily involved in politics. It seems like, right?
Yes.
I want to know how did you guys meet and like what is the backstory of how you started your channel?
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty straightforward. Linda and I were both political influencers down in Miami-Dade, and it was inevitable, you know, both being in the same area and being very politically driven with local politics. We had a mutual friend, a comedian, invite us both out to his show, and we sat in the table together, and it was like we had been friends our entire life. And then after the 2020 elections, we're like, all right, well, there's a space for us, right? Like, we're Latinas. It's a demographic where we feel that culturally Latinos are conservative, but unfortunately the way that politics are set up and the way that media, Spanish media in particular, is set up, Hispanic media, a lot of them identify as liberals. So we wanted to create a space where they had voices that sounded like them, that were talking about these issues, not just about politics, but also pop culture from a conservative point, which we don't feel that there's enough of. Not nearly enough, I think these days. Do you guys feel like you've caught like an audience, that the audience you were looking to reach? Yeah, we have. In fact, we did like a survey the other day, and I think that something like 30% of our audience doesn't identify as Republican or MAGA, which was a huge win for us, because we want to be able to reach people that were like us. We're both former Democrats. Now we just identify as Republicans because things have gotten so crazy. We feel like the left definitely pushed to an extreme. And we want to be able to give people a voice where it's like, hey, I promise you, there's like rational conservatives, there's rational Republicans that agree with, that stand on a really like middle ground of a lot of things that liberals, quote unquote, might agree with. So we do feel that the audience that we're targeting right now is, you know, those people that maybe are like peeking over to the conservative side from the liberals, saying like, oh, maybe I do have these kind of conservative ideologies. They might not even be conservatives. It could literally just, like, if it's somebody like me who is still very liberal on plenty of things, but just gets kind of tossed into the conservative basket because the Overton window is shifted as far as it has, right? Yeah. So what stories have you guys been following lately that really speak to you?
What content?
What content? Politically?
Anything.
I think we've been kind of hitting it hard with the red pill manosphere stuff, especially on Twitter and on YouTube, mostly because it's, I can't say the R word, and and it's not based on real life, no matter how many studies they want to link. It's also very victim like. Yeah, it's I'm a victim of women, I'm a victim. It's the same thing as a feminist. I'm a victim of men, I'm a victim of a patriarchy, I'm a victim of the white man. And so because it has kind of crossed over with the conservative movement and even politics, and certain creators like Tim Cass just had, you know, Fresh and Fit here and stuff. Then we've kind of,
I was on that episode with them. I was on.
Yeah. So we've kind of, you know, commented on what's going on, and
I did clown on women's basketball. I will say I did.
As you should. Fine.
As we all do. Honestly, we clown on women all the time too.
What was your impression of them?
Look, it's like when I see creators in this space, I tend to feel that, look, I didn't meet them personally. Like, I showed up 30 minutes before the show, right? I didn't get a chance to talk to them personally, so I don't know what they're like off camera. And I'm not the type of person who's going to judge who a person is based on their on-screen persona, because a lot of people, I would like to think that we don't do that here as much. Like, there's still an element of performance when you're doing something like this, but I'm not always going to judge a person based on what they're portraying. I might criticize their message. I might think that what their messaging is sharing is bad, but I know that a lot of people push it to 11 because it reaches an audience. So my impressions of them, it's hyper dramatic. It's done for effect because it sells tickets, it sells subscriptions, and all those things. Like, I've got my critiques of feminism, just like I've got my critiques of, you know, the MGTOW and manosphere, all that stuff. But I'm just such a centrist that I think most of that stuff just doesn't speak to me.
It flies over the head of most normal people.
Well, it does. And that's why when we talk to men who are not on the internet, or I guess mostly men, they're confused as to what the hell these people are talking about. Like, we just had a male panel and we brought in normal guys. Like, if they have an Instagram, it's private. Like, they don't do anything on the internet at all. Like, they're just dating like normal people would. and it was a pretty diverse like crowd. We even had our friend Anthony, who also has a YouTube channel, Inform with Anthony. He's married at 18, has 3 beautiful children, has been with the same woman since he was 18 years old, so about 18 years on. He's 36, 37. And we had like the single guy, we had like, you know, a black man, like everybody, and they're mostly confused about this ideology that's, you know, caters to a very small minority on the internet. Like they're all just like, what? Like shocked.
And that they're all men that haven't struggled with women, which is why we wanted to bring them on the panel. It's like, this is what regular guys will tell you, you know. And then we presented these like RP ideologies to them, like, how do you feel about paying for a woman on the first date? And all of their jaws dropped to the floor. They're like,
what?
Why would I do that? Like, why would I make a woman pay on the first date? Like, how am I gonna smash if I'm asking her to pay for the date? Like, it's because it's still kind of, they're still dudes, so they're still focused on the same thing, which is like smashing and getting babes. All right, it's just they're actually getting they're actually getting women because they're practicing these, you know, they're treating, they're nice, they're fun to hang out with, they're you know, they're cool guys, as opposed to a lot of these men on what seems like the RP space that seem like they're either very sad and bitter that they've been like hurt by somebody in the past, or they're lonely, which is understandable. I agree that men do have a harder time in society that women do, but I want to help make that easier for them. And I think that a lot of this RP ideology is just going to lead to just lonelier men.
It's kind of interesting that the red pill movement it first came up over 10 years ago, right?
Yeah.
Like it's been a long time since it was in its heyday, and then it just made this huge resurgence within the past year or 2 years that just seems like totally inorganic and astroturfed. And now it's just everywhere. It's taken over political and cultural discourse.
And depending on the platform you're on, like, look, if you go on Instagram, you will see a lot of women who make the videos that are anti-male, but they're done as skits. And everybody doing this, what has happened is like, the way I tried to explain it the other day is like, look, everyone's talking at each other and they're talking to audiences rather than to individuals. When you're having these conversations, like the one I was reading about, it was a girl like explaining why women steal your French fries at dinner. And I'm like, and she's explaining it, and I'm like, dude, this is only going to annoy people because.
Wait, so why?
It's like, we want to know that you're going to share what you have with us. She gives it's like an anthropological answer rather than just saying like, I didn't think I was hungry and then I smelled the French fries and now I'm hungry again.
It's probably some mix of both.
Yes, and so, but the thing is like, or when people complain about their spouse on the internet, we'll hold off on the $20 one there, but like when they complain about their spouse on the internet, like that's not a conversation that's supposed to be shared with everybody. It's supposed to go with the person that you're actually intimate with, which then brings in all of the intimate moments that you shared together. So there's leeway given to statements. There's connection that isn't there when you're talking to a person that you don't know, right? So everyone's talking at each other. No one's really talking to each other.
There was a story that went viral on TikTok a few months back, and it's a woman that apparently she was at some party with her husband. Her husband stayed late. The guy gets dragged out to the strip club with his friends, and then the wife has a conniption about it. But she went on the internet and she blasted her husband for going to the strip club and was like, "Oh, I can't believe he did this to me." Blah, blah, blah. So of course the internet gets all riled up. They find the guy. They start calling his job. The guy gets fired. She didn't leave her husband. So all she did was ruin her life,
family's life,
ruin her whole life. For one income family household, she wasn't working. She was a stay-at-home mom, and she went and took her private business to the internet and completely ruined her own life as a result.
There's a $20 one right
That's
there.
crazy.
I think it's ESO said the manosphere red pillars would be so much better off if they put that energy in bickering into bettering themselves instead of being victims of circumstance. It's literally feminism going the other way, and it's cringe.
Amen.
Just a lot of it is just the chronically online. I did see one the other day where this woman's like, my husband said he would only come on vacation with us if he could golf every day. I'm like, first of all, I don't know if I buy this story. Like, you know, I do think that some of these people, men and women, create this stuff just to make people angry because they know this. But she's like, and it shows her she's like making like a drink, like I don't know, she's making like chocolate milk like from home or something. And then she's like, my husband's looking for his golf clubs. I said I packed them, but I didn't pack them. So basically saying like they went on vacation and now he's like looking for his golf clubs and the golf clubs aren't there because she just lied to him.
Is that what she was saying though? I feel like that's because I've seen those. I think that what she's insinuating is that he's on a golfing trip, but if he comes back and he doesn't realize that his golf clubs aren't there, then he wasn't actually on a golfing trip.
But why would he do that while going on vacation with them? Like they're all on vacation together.
Oh,
and she also
that's mean. That was just mean spirited. She didn't want him to golf on their time.
She also does the drag where she says like, I had to pack everything, of course. But
there's a lot of content of like wives and stay-at-home moms complaining about their lives and
there's a lot
putting
of bitter
their husbands
wives.
The point
blast
is
online.
that it's not that the argument isn't a valid argument to have. It's that you should be having it together, not sharing this on social media.
The internet.
And then it's just making all the single women who watch think that it's a living hell to be married and be a mom.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's just completely counterintuitive. Yeah. But I want to know, to switch topics, what was your opinion on the conservative reaction to Barbie? And what did you guys think of Barbie?
You didn't watch it.
I haven't watched it. I've just kind of like heard the reviews and it's
just all the response to it. It was a cultural moment, regardless of
like
what you
it
saw
was a little mocking of woke culture based off what I've heard.
I watched it.
What'd you think?
I thought it was a great movie, and I thought it was a great movie. Not necessarily because like first of all, why are we looking at this through a conservative or liberal standpoint? It's fucking Barbie.
Greta Gerwig, the director, is a very, very devout feminist.
That's fine though. It's still a fictitious movie based on a character that has been always traditionally feminist. Barbie was president. Barbie was a scuba diver. Barbie
wasn't anti-male.
I don't think so. No. I don't think so at all, because it actually showed you the realities of two different worlds, which was the Barbie world, the allegedly perfect world led by feminists, which had a black female president, of all women Supreme Court justice. Every day was a beautiful day. You know, the boys, it was like they didn't even care where the boys slept. Like they asked her, like, where does Ken sleep? And she was like,
they just wait for Barbies to come back.
Yeah, like I don't know where the hell. And then that reality was fractured for Barbie, right? And then where did she decide to stay? She stayed in the real world, which is supposedly, allegedly, the patriarchy, right? So I thought it was kind of like a jab at both, like especially everything is so extremist right now. When Barbie was in the real world and she like ran into like these young girls in middle school or high school, I think, and she said like, oh, like I'm supposed to be like your favorite like toy, like I'm Barbie, I'm beautiful, I'm this, and like the girl is looking at her and says, you're a fascist, you know? Like everybody lost it laughing, because it's like that's what we're living right now, where, you know, if you are beautiful and you take care of yourself, if you're fit, right? Isn't
something
that, like,
totally benign could
if you drink milk, you know, raw milk, then you may be a far right extremist. So I thought Greta was making more of like a mockery out of both extremes, and in the end, you know, she stayed in the patriarchy. So
we got one from Gordon Shumway. Yeah. One of the best memes I've seen over the past few years was a menu. One of the options was a selection of "My GF isn't hungry" that includes 4 extra fries and an extra chicken wing and an extra mozzarella stick. Yeah.
That place went out of business. We looked it up. Yeah, that place went out of business, sadly.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
didn't help with the profit margins.
Yeah. Look, it was the part that bothered me, and we've talked about it was the scene where they're playing music for them.
It was the scenes where the Barbies were cynically humoring the Kens, pretending to be interested in the things that they like, and it kind of reviles the idea that like the opposite sex is something like you don't totally understand, but you should delight in our differences and not.
There's something cynical about that.
Not resent just like the fact that men sometimes share things with women they like.
As a movie buff, I would like to think that I've never mansplained a movie to a woman. I would like to think, right? But the idea is not that you're mansplaining. The idea is that this is something you're passionate about. You care about storytelling. You care about cinema. And you're sharing something that you love with this person. You're trying to explain it to them. They portray it as something malicious. The same with the music. They talk about the Kens' egos when they're playing songs for Barbie, and they use that to crush the Kens because the idea is that men have fragile egos. I just felt that was a cynical way of approaching the dynamic.
If it's the more intelligent interpretation, which you just said, I think Greta Gerwig did that without really realizing it.
Yeah, and the reason we said that,
unintentional.
we because we had to cover it a lot because this channel covers so much in pop culture. They gave her an interview and they asked her like, "What's so feminist about the movie?" And she said,
"What makes it a feminist movie?" And she just had no fucking clue.
So if it is deeper, I think that speaks more to the intelligence of the audience, perhaps, than the director. But I could be wrong. But it just felt like usually if somebody has a very fully fleshed out idea of what they think the message in their movie is, they've got a 30-second to 1 minute elevator pitch that they can give you.
If it's so feminist, why would she not end up in Barbie Land?
It's why do you think that is?
Well, maybe it's not so feminist as it seems.
I just think that it's not.
But I'm not. The thing is, I'm not labeling the movie feminist. I'm saying I didn't like the movie for
there were
specific
issues
reasons.
with it, and there were other parts of it that were enjoyable, and everyone took it way.
Oh no, we love the first before America Ferrera gives the big speech. Which I felt that was when the movie started to take itself too seriously
and boring.
Like before that, it was great. But once it took that turn, it started to feel mean-spirited.
And I think that she should have ended up with Ken.
Yeah.
At the end, I think they both should have went to.
I didn't know any of this happened. I wasn't sure. I didn't know.
Well, we just spoiled the whole thing for you, so no.
Thank you guys. Thank you guys. All right. Love the song.
Well, that's nice bookend.
Yes. All right. Let's go ahead now that we are 1 hour and 2 minutes into it. Let's get right into it, shall we, ladies and gentlemen? Let's talk about Dillon Danis, Logan Paul, and Nina Agdal, because Nina Agdal has kind of like... Logan Paul's going through a lot right now.
It's actually been a minute since Dillon Danis posted this, but he posted this video of Nina Agdal. I don't know how he attained it. Who sent it to him? But he has internet sleuths everywhere that found this video of her.
The morning?
Yeah.
Let's
where
watch.
she,
let's share it with the audience.
It's very graphic.
Here we go.
By the way, I'm very proud of myself. This is the longest I've ever gone without sex since I started. Obviously, it's driving me crazy. I am struggling. I need penis inside of me. ASAP. Like, all I want is like a big fat sausage just destroying my body. So, if any of you guys know a good dick that doesn't have STDs on it,
See, she doesn't care how tall you are.
right here. By the way, I'm embarrassed.
Do it.
Okay.
Out of control.
Well, I mean, it's true because remember, the big part of this was that they make a big deal about her making him weigh.
Yeah, so I mean,
presumably
she did not make a lot of guys in her past wait, and for an unspecified amount of time, she did make Logan Paul her now
It was
fiance
like 2
wait.
weeks. She gave him head the first time they met.
Dude, and he was talking about that like she was like out of a convent.
It wasn't.
What is the state of modern women?
I mean, I don't. Was he trying to sell her off as some kind of like trad wife to his audience?
She's so traditional.
When he was on Impulsive, his co-host was asking them about it, and he basically made it seem like he waited a long ass time, and I was like,
but
how long is a long time for people these days?
On that same show, and I had, because I watched that, and as soon as I finished watching that episode, I got a couple of these. I remember calling Linda, and I'm like, I realized what my problem is. I don't like hearing women openly talk about sex and like what they enjoy or like needing
we're friends,
or whatnot.
and we would never be like.
I would never say
this. I would never say this to. Like,
I feel like that.
Hey,
That's like part of where
I think guys assume you guys do that though.
No, absolutely.
I know. Yes,
there's women that do.
Yes,
there's women that do. But I've realized that the minute that I see a woman talking that openly about sex, chances are they're usually very open with their sexuality, where they're probably hoes. And listen, it is what it is. I think that the misconception is the following: that because she's a hoe, she's less worthy of this guy that's considered high value by their metrics. He's rich, he's famous, he's got the clout. So they see all of that and they're like, oh, well then that guy, because it's based off this internet echo chamber that they're in, that guy should end up with like, you know, with a virgin, and she should be pure, and he's got
as if
access.
Logan would ever make sense with that type of woman.
So then on that same same episode that he tried to sell her like some kind of convent girl that made him wait for months, he also says
2 weeks. I thought it must have been like 3 months. Like 3 months is considered a long time for modern people now.
Maybe
and
not
like
2 weeks, but
2 weeks.
3 months. No, 2 weeks is not a long time at all.
Like that's basically a stranger.
He makes the comment on that podcast where he's like, "Oh, Nina could suck the chrome off a tailpipe," and it's like, that right there should tell you that this guy does not care what anyone
and doesn't care what other people think of her.
No.
More importantly, which should raise a red flag to her. But
more importantly, and despite what any of these red pillars or men say, there are certain type of men, not to be confused with all men, because I know this really triggers them. Like Logan Paul would be an example, who find Nina to have more value because she has slept with people like Leonardo DiCaprio. Because now you get to tell your boys that you're dating a model. And he actually said it on that podcast. We both watched the podcast at the same time and then called each other to talk about it, where he was like, you know, basically saying like, I had a crush on her since I was like 19 years old. I was 19 years old. He still hadn't made it on YouTube. He still didn't have the money or anything. And he said, I was watching her on the Super Bowl commercial and this Arby's or the Burger King commercial, Nina act down. You know, she's 31.
Wait, so Burger King commercial?
She's been a
No, she did a Hardee's commercial. You know how they always have the hot girls in the Hardee's commercials?
During the Super Bowl.
Hot girls in commercials is like a thing of the past now, so I didn't know that.
This was when Logan Paul was 19
a while
years
ago,
old. How old is he now? 29?
It's like 28.
Okay, so almost 10
so.
years
It's been
ago.
a while.
10 years ago, the Super Bowl still had hot girls.
Like the GoDaddy commercials back in the day.
You know? But he certainly doesn't like... He's brags about his girl. He doesn't consider her to be a hoe or promiscuous based on the man that she slept with in the past. That's him. I'm not saying your audience or men shouldn't do that. But here's the thing. It's like, look at the Andrew Tate videos of him in Croatia on his mega yacht. Do you think that all the girls that he invites over are pure virgins? Like, would your parents be okay? Like, my mom is still wondering where I'm at right now. She literally had me text her where I was staying at here. Yeah. And she's like, why were you there? Like, she was like, who are you traveling? Yeah. Like, I don't know about you guys, but if I went on a trip with Andrew Tate on a mega yacht, my mom is going to think that I'm an escort. Yeah. So these high value men,
if you're going to Dubai or you're going to Ibiza by yourself,
these high value men are not inviting some pure convent girls to come fly with them to Dubai or to, you know, or go on yachts. They're hoes.
Well, are there actually guys who see value in a girl and dating a girl that banged a bunch of
let's watch the TikTok. That
doesn't seem real to me. That doesn't seem real to me.
Well, it's not. It's not about that. It's not. I just don't think that the hyper awareness that the red pill gives to body count. I just don't think. I think
we should watch Linda's TikTok about this subject.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Lynn. Okay.
Yeah.
Here we go.
About this exact subject.
There are certain things in life that are basic realities. The sky is blue, the grass is green. Once you turn 30, the hangovers are horrible, and men love hoes. Now, whenever I say this, people jump off their seats. Oh, what are you talking about? Men don't love hoes. We don't love them right through whores, body count, blah, blah. The best example happening right now is Nina Agdal and Logan Paul. She's a public figure. Pictures of her with different men, including Leonardo DiCaprio, her ex-boyfriend, some model, have been around for years. Do you think that Logan Paul cared about her past before he proposed to her? Allegedly, her ring is worth $1 million. I don't know if it's true or it's not true. If you are hot enough, a man is not going to care about your past. This does not mean that I promote being a hoe. This does not mean that I am promiscuous or promoting that lifestyle. It's just a basic reality. It could be an uncomfortable reality. You may not like it, but it's a reality.
Okay.
And it's a reality that we've seen. Look, no man is going to want to admit that they like hoes because no man gets into it. They're not like, oh my God, she's a hoe. I love her. That's not true. That's not how it works. What's the problem? Hoes have been around a lot of men. And because they've been around a lot of men, they know how to make men feel special. So whether it's because they're cooking them a nice meal, checking in on them,
they like
doing
the elaborate
nice things
ruse
for them.
Of it all.
Well, they know how to treat a man. This is just the reality of it. Hoes are going to know how to, whether it's in the bedroom, in the kitchen, they're going to support you. They're going to encourage you because they're experts at at this. This is what they do. And I don't think that enough men on the internet that maybe don't have as much access to women understand how far that goes. Men want to be made to feel like kings amongst other men. And hoes have a keen ability to do that. And because of it, it's not like they're with a woman and they're like, oh, she's a hoe, she's a 10. Yeah. They're just gonna fall in love with the woman that makes them feel the most special. And if that girl happens to be beautiful and stunning, but it also happens that she has a past, chances are, even if you ask her what her body count is, it's probably going to be a lie. So that's a horrible way of being able to tell. It's a horrible way to tell if a woman's been around. The only way that you can really tell is by watching the way that a woman behaves. Right. And if aside from that behavior, she's also good to you or whatnot, and you decide to date her because she makes you feel good, I think that the red pill underestimates how often that happens.
So I guess what we're saying basically is like, it's not their past that the men love, it's these other aspects of them.
It has absolutely. All that they've learned from their past.
It's like if they're hot and if they're pleasant to be around, and if frankly from being around so many men have learned how to please them, like and be exactly what they want. If a woman lives for male validation, not like that's right or anything, that's a bad thing, then she'll be pretty good at, seeing what makes them tick and what motivates them.
Yeah, I think the hosts just understand men better.
But like, from my position, I'm arguing like that the women who still have a chance to make the choice not to have the hoe present. Right. Let's prevent your hoe present and stop complaining about all these hoe pasts, because you can't take back the past.
Right. Correct. And here's the thing: like, no man is going to want to wife down a girl or be with a girl that's kind of like, these things are coming out now for Nina, but I'm sure like no guy is gonna be like, yeah, like I want to suck a big whatever she said sausage and be that explicit and or talk about her sex past. I think that's something that's fair to say, right? Like, guys wouldn't like that. However, there's girls that have that whole energy that the guy's not necessarily gonna ask about her past that explicitly. Like, what are you gonna do? Tell me every single partner you slept with, the amount of bodies. There's a lot of people that are very young on this chat, but if they went out there in the real world and started dating, it would be pretty intrusive to ask a guy or a girl on the first date or even on the second date how many people you've slept with. It's fair if you want to do that. I'm not saying not to do that, because guys get mad. Well, we need to have standards. Good for you. Have all the standards that you want. If you want to marry a virgin, if you want to marry a girl with two bodies or less, have the standards that you want.
So it's like, right? Where'd you grow up? Where'd you go to college? How many men have you done? It's like third question in. Third question in.
It's just not realistic. That doesn't happen outside of the internet. So that doesn't happen. And we never wanted to be confused with the fact that we don't think that modesty is a great quality for a woman to have. We don't. Of course, purity is something that men value. Absolutely. No man. I mean, in reality, no man wants to date an OnlyFans girl or all these things, knowing that they're a woman.
Miami? All the OnlyFans girls in Miami are married or have boyfriends.
But I'm talking more so about the majority of men do value grace and do. And the problem is that now this RP shit has really drove it to an extreme. When you hear Pearl say, like, if you're not a virgin, then you're a whore, and it's like, well, that's just not realistic, because the majority of people aren't going to fall into that, and most women are not whores. Another thing that we talk about also a lot is turning hoes into housewives. That people are like, that can happen. We know again, and defining hoe, right? Because we define hoes by a woman that's promiscuous and sleeps around with many men. These days it seems like hoes can just be defined by anything. If you're listening to the internet, if you wear the wrong thing, you're a hoe. If you take the wrong kind of pictures, you're a hoe. To me, a hoe is still the old school definition of being a hoe, which is that you are promiscuous and you sleep around. And the truth of the matter is that there's girls that are hoe by this new definition that are maybe out at the clubs, or maybe they dress sexy, or maybe they even go on a yacht with Andrew Tate, that are going to turn 25 at some point. They're going to find a nice guy, they're going to settle down, and they're going to have normal lives, and nobody's like, oh, that was a hoe. Nobody's thinking that. A lot of these girls end up having normal, average lives, and we think that the RP does a great disservice to women, where it makes them feel like if you made mistakes in your early 20s, you're screwed, there's no value to you, and nobody's ever going to see you that way, as opposed to encouraging women, like you said, Mary, to embrace these more modest and traditional lifestyles, because the outcome that you're going to have is better. Not shaming them, just showing them a better outcome.
None of these people, including all the guys in the chat, none of you have access to supermodels. Let me repeat that again. All of you don't have access to supermodels.
Unless, you can correct us and tell us which one you're dating if you are.
On YouTube,
there's
on a Friday. None of you have access to supermodels, so you don't even get to have the choice to turn them down for having too many bodies or being hoes, because you don't have that option. You're gonna have to choose from the pool of women that's available to you. So that's something else that these men don't
Got one
understand.
from Gordon Shumway. Finally, some ladies that actually give a realistic perspective. I'm sick of the ultra man-hating feminist and the non-realistic red pill manosphere. I'm going to check out your show. Thank you, ladies.
And that's the long and the short of it, right? Is the most successful people in these spaces are the ones who push the most extremes of.
You don't care who you piss off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. So, but you know,
Dillon Danis' baby mama right now must be kind of shocked that mere hours after the birth of their child, he is posting memes
Is this what he's
about
doing?
Logan Paul.
Stop it.
He just had a baby. Is this what he's really doing with his child?
I love it.
He just had a baby,
my hope
and
is
this
that somebody else made it.
This is
Like,
an edit where Logan Paul is the baby and
Wait,
Nina
I don't see
Agdal is
it.
the mommy.
But where do you stand
Oh
on
my
this? Like,
God.
do you think that he's making a bad decision marrying Nina?
Oh, I fall
Or do
back
you
in the
not care?
same iron. I
just don't
have
care.
an ironclad position on all this stuff. I don't care.
If you're a Paul
Do
brother,
what you
you're
wanna do, bro.
extremely
Do what you
like
want to do, bro. None of my business.
both of the Paul brothers are like emotionally, mentally volatile people who are not normal, who most people cannot relate to. They probably would have a failed marriage no matter who they found.
No matter
You know,
who it
it's
was.
just-
Well, we would hope not, but the likelihood
true.
is.
Well, they have to find somebody that matches their lifestyle. That's like, so there's one personality on the manosphere that we actually had on as a guest. His name is Sterling Cooper. He's a former porn star, and he's constantly advocating about finding pure women. Like, I'm sorry, but I don't want my virgin daughter dating a former porn star.
Would you date a former porn star?
No.
Okay, there you go.
Not even a question.
It was so. Then again, it's like nobody talks about compatibility in these red pill circles. It's like those girls, those Instagram models have men and husbands, because a lot of them are married.
A lot of them
that,
are married,
that complement their lifestyles.
Yeah.
And
Like, I was sitting next to this red pill dude on whatever, and he seems to think that after his philandering and passport broing, that any girl who comes from a similar background to me would ever give him the time of day, and it just isn't true. They're usually dating like guys their own age who are kind of sincere and dorky and share their values and their faith, who they meet through church or through social events or through school.
Again,
Like, those
this is
are
all-
what, and I know them, so I
Correct.
know who they're picking, and it's not dudes with fake Rolexes.
Correct, and it's also, that's another thing too, which is the way that high value is defined by the RP is just not a reality.
Right.
If your definition of a high value man is somebody who drives a Bugatti, who makes millions of dollars, and who's over 6 feet tall, then you're talking about less than 1% of the population. And I believe that there's many good men out there, more than just 1%. I think of high value of somebody like my husband. My husband's the kind of man where if something breaks in my house, I don't need to call somebody to come repair it in my house. My husband's gonna take care of that. My husband finds pleasure in being the main breadwinner in our home. My husband likes being a man. He likes fishing and catching our dinner. Those things to me equate a high value man, a man that believes in long-term marriage, a man that doesn't think that it's okay for men to cheat. Those things to me are much more valuable when we're describing a high value man than, you know, if I had a daughter, I wouldn't consider a high value mate Andrew Tate. Like, her being one of 7 taking selfies in a Bugatti, that's not winning if I was a mom looking out for my children. What would be winning is if she found somebody that was compatible to her, that if she was a virgin, the person she was with was also a virgin, that they were discovering that together, maybe even getting married young and having children and starting a family. That seems significantly more high value to me than being one of 7 girlfriends to Andrew Tate.
Look, at the end of the day, all of this stuff, especially dating advice channels, it's entertainment, and it should be conceived of and viewed as entertainment and not a guide for life. My hope would be that you have actual men, or if you're a lady and you're looking advice from other women in your life, that you can get advice from on these things. I think it might actually speak more to a disconnect between us and our parents in a certain respect.
Well, but also, like, between generations,
Jordan
like,
Peterson filled a void for men.
Different
that is
generations aren't
obviously more-
talking to each other anymore. And when I was like going through a period where I felt kind of lost in life, I went to older women to talk about it.
Yeah, and right now I just feel that a lot of people are lost, and they look to the internet for help. And there's this old video that I mentioned earlier. I said, if you look at a lot of these things, people selling courses like that, to me, it screams of like, it used to be sold on the back of tabloid magazines. Kind of like if you take like a New York Times headline and it looks ridiculous and you don't think it's ridiculous, what you do is you take that exact headline and you just paste it onto a National Enquirer. Suddenly it looks ridiculous because you associate the National Enquirer with ridiculousness. Now it's like all this stuff's online and people are just lost and they're a little bit lonely and they're looking for advice. And you have to be wary of anybody who's creating a product, whether that's through view count, whether that's through sponsorships with brands. I'm not saying that those people are inherently evil. I'm saying that they're businessmen in a capitalist society. That's the product they're selling you. Yep. You can go into that. You might get useful information. Like, I don't know. I don't watch the content. You might get something useful that helps you with your life. I can't speak to that. But you should always be aware as to whether you're paying attention to something that's either entertainment or something to actually view as information to better your life. And the sad fact of the matter is most of it falls on the entertainment category.
And unfortunately, it's very predatory entertainment that does fuel itself off the insecurities of men to keep itself alive and going. Like I see the comments from men, like that they'll comment under these podcasts and they're like, just trying. Like, I've been hurt. You hear them. They've been hurt. They've been let down. Like, women, like Linda had said it best. She's like, some women are demons. Like, it's the reality.
That was bigger.
Women can be really awful.
The MGTOW movement in the early 2016 to 2017. Like, you hear these horror stories of men left living in these small apartments on a blow-up bed because the wife took and again, even if you're watching this, you're still watching something where you're only getting one side of the story. Am I inclined to believe him? Yeah, I guess, because why would he lie about something like this if he's not making a ton of money, if he's just making a video on his own? But the fact of the matter is, there's on both from both of the sexes, you're gonna meet bad people, and content like that sells. It's why we cover so many stories. I had a story the other week of like a woman who, like, Mary didn't want to cover it because it was so gross, about this woman who she's basically like a fill-in wife. She makes like $30,000 per person,
like a virtual
to sit there with a guy and pretend to like watching football.
$200,000 to be pretend a wife?
She's like $30,000 a person. And this lady, she's doing this. And it's like those stories are inherently ridiculous and therefore interesting to talk about.
Yeah, of course.
Which means so it's promoted through the algorithm, and you've got these tech companies that want to keep you lonely and addicted to your phone and to the internet anyways. So I'm less inclined to believe that it's one big bad evil and more a bunch of societal factors that have come together to push the sexes apart.
But I do think it's clear that there is some kind of coordination to split the genders apart right now. Like the same way that we had a fabricated race war in 2020, I feel that we are seeing a fabricated gender war that we're stepping into now. And, like I had mentioned earlier, my bigger deal is that I find that this is significantly more destructive than feminism, because I am a firm believer that societies are built by men, that men are the leaders of society. And if men are tricked into believing that their greatest enemy is the female presence, then our society truly is doomed.
I don't think I think there's so much feminist messaging in the rest of society. I think that feminism and identity politics going the other direction have embedded themselves it's burrowed so far into our education system, into our entertainment, into every aspect of society. I think that as bad as you may think it to be, I think it's merely it's a reactionary,
like a course correction.
It's a poor course correction, but I don't think it has any chance of undoing the 50 years of whether we're talking about the Duluth model of divorce.
It's 100 plus.
There's just too much of it. I think it's more we ourselves are also still algorithmically focused on it.
Whatever it is, it's demonic, and they're all going to hell.
Let's go to Superchats.
Speaking of which, Yesh says, hold on, Holy Spirit, activate. Holy Spirit, activate.
If only we could get the music in the background.
I love that song. All right, let's go. Urashima Otaru said, young people don't understand the magnitude of Michael Jackson.
Oh yeah, I put a poll today. I put up a poll today, ladies and gentlemen. I said, with as popular as Taylor Swift is now, and we're going to talk about that next, there's been people who've been floating the idea, is she as big as Michael Jackson? I say, not real. No,
absolutely not.
No, but she is ridiculous now.
Yeah.
She's ridiculous.
She's huge.
$20 one from Potatoes for Seamus. Get yourself a hat from Brett's Hat Warehouses. There's a wide selection for that spectacular someone. Also, happy Monday, Brett, and calm down. Also, hi, Mary. Hi, guest.
Stop with the gaslighting. Stop with the gaslighting. And I maybe I will sell hats one day. I'll do that one day.
I should move a little bit more this way, right?
Is your shot off?
Yeah.
You're good.
I think I'm good.
Brett can
now,
fix
right?
it if you
You're
need.
good. Yeah, you're good.
Half-Baked Treehouse said, all these beautiful women and not a... Wait, what is this? A Como? I don't know what that is. Hashtag make the kitchen great again. Still working on that.
Wait, is
Hi, Brett.
that some type of like kitchen utensil? Because if so, then it's funny if nobody knows what it is.
I'm not entirely sure, but if the suggestion is that we don't cook, like we're two Latinas, we absolutely do cook, and we cook really good.
It means it's specifically a Latin American griddle. What makes it Latin American, I don't know.
I'm not quite sure where he got that name from, but we do cook. We're just, it's not a cooking show, so I didn't come prepared for that.
Also, you spelled my name with one T, so your chat is invalid. I'm sorry.
Opinion discarded.
Yes.
Serenko Productions said boo.
With the ghost
I'm really
emoji.
scared right now.
Do
Sinead
one more.
Wilder said, Brett fails to warn them about crisis parties. This should be good. Also, Doja's edginess is just mid. We use satanic imagery. Aren't we cool?
I don't fail to warn them. I purposely don't warn them. That's the point, right? The idea is to scare the crap out of them. Let's
So
hold on to the
another
rest and we'll come back.
Satanist is in the news. Taylor Swift is in the news because she has now bought double the carbon credits to make up for the massive carbon emissions from the Eras tour. I didn't even know what a carbon credit was
I looked it
until
up.
today.
I looked
and
it
I'm
up.
shocked. Like, who is selling it? How do you spend them? What does it all mean? When did this even become a thing?
Yeah, I want to know more about this too.
So
I
as far
didn't
as
even know you
carbon
could buy.
footprinting in, it says, how do carbon credits work and what are the benefits and challenges of participating in carbon markets? My question is, why the hell does Taylor Swift have to perform or have to be part of a carbon market? It says, carbon credits are a way of reducing greenhouse gas emissions by giving a monetary value to each ton of carbon dioxide or equivalent that is avoided or removed from the atmosphere. They are part of a larger system of carbon markets where entities can trade, sell, or buy carbon credits.
Boring.
Isn't
Okay.
this essentially kind of like how we do energy trading then? Like,
I literally don't.
I wouldn't be surprised if this is some kind of PR campaign for
Brett,
carbon
math class
emission
is
credits.
tough. Also, I'm sure it is because this is in Business Insider. It says before the tour kicked off in March 2023,
Wow.
Taylor Swift purchased more than double the carbon credits needed to offset all tour travel.
so she just bought some poor person's
This
carbon
is from
credits?
her own spokesperson, so we don't even know if it's true.
Well, she got a lot of crap recently because they were like saying like she was the biggest offender of carbon of private jet use in like the last year, and she's like, it's not my fault. I let people use my jet.
Taylor Swift was ranked like the highest carbon emissions celebrity of all time.
Well, when you're
compared
making
to, like,
that much money, you
Kylie
can-
Jenner, like people are mad at her because she uses a private jet, and I mean she has to for her job. But
She's
this
too big to fly commercial. She'll never be able to fly commercial. The other day they swamped her friends like baby shower, bridal shower, or something. In a very small
like
town.
if not even her friends can live a normal life in public. I don't think she can.
They didn't even have enough police to like
Yeah.
help.
She's
you know,
like I
the
said, she's a phenom right now.
Yeah,
she is.
she's on top. She's bigger than Beyonce right now.
And the
crazy.
And the Beyonce fans are not happy.
They
about
are
that.
really mad about it, and they think that it's a symptom of racism that Taylor Swift is more
Shocking
popular
that
than
they would
Beyonce.
say that.
Doesn't everything go back to Kanye? Didn't Kanye take Taylor Swift's award to give it to Beyonce?
But it was totally a racial thing, like when he did that.
It was.
It was a
Actually,
racially
it was.
charged thing, and it had nothing to do with misogyny, as a lot of people.
But society
want to
didn't
point
say that
out.
at the time, did they? The news wasn't saying it was a
No.
racial thing at the time.
No, but
think
it was
about
clear.
that. Think about how different of a time we live in now. Where if that happened today, like going the other way, it would be a crap storm.
Yeah, it would have been.
But also, she sold a record amount of pre-sale tickets for her movie, which is just it's a tour based on her
documentary.
concert.
Yeah.
And I posed she sold $26 million in pre-sale tickets, which beat out Spider-Man No Way Home, which if you don't remember was like the last time that before the Barbie movie, Spider-Man No Way Home was one of the biggest movies it was the biggest movie of 2021, and made people think that we were actually back from COVID at the theaters at that part. And I posed the question recently. I said, look, Hollywood has been trying for the last 15 years to find a way to appeal to women. And what they keep trying to do is shove women into roles for movies that men like like superheroes or action
Or you
films.
write a male character and just gender swap and expect that to go over well.
And it doesn't work. It never actually speaks to it. But they're in a bind right now because the things that women tend to like, Hollywood doesn't want to make stories about because they don't want to show happy heterosexual couples in movies.
Right.
They don't want to
stuff,
do
hot girls. Cute outfits, Dua Lipa song.
They don't want to do
hit
that.
them one after the other. Barbie did so well, and they think let's make more movies about toys like Play-Doh.
It's not even that. I don't think it's not so much that they're dumb. It's that they actually know that they don't want to make the movies about the stuff that women actually like. So they're trying to find the next best thing.
Look at Mean Girls. Look at
Legally Blonde.
Mean Girls,
Clueless. In 10 days.
Everyone loves Clueless.
13 going on 30.
That was
By the way,
great.
Stacey Dash, if you're watching, I still want you to come on this podcast.
Please.
I would love to talk to you.
Do you love Stacey Dash?
I love Stacey Dash.
I actually did like contact her manager and we went back and forth and then it kind of like fizzled out.
No!
But come on, Stacey Dash, please.
I don't want Alicia Silverstone on here. I want Stacey Dash on here.
Look, I'd be happy with both, either one. I don't care. But
these are the things that women like. Those movies. And the thing is, everyone can love Clueless.
Everyone loves
I
that.
love Clueless.
It's
Clueless
iconic.
Is,
Which one's the lawyer one?
Legally Blonde.
Legally Blonde.
Hello.
They're not finding ways to make movies for women because, first of all, they want to make the movies where the woman doesn't end up in a relationship. They don't want her to end up happy. They want her to end up a girl boss. And that might work once in a while, but at the end of the day, if you're looking for a vibrant market, look at the Hallmark Channel.
Correct.
Or the Great American Family. Women want to watch stories about impossibly handsome men who just happen to be widowers in small towns.
Well, I'm wondering how is this movie Priscilla gonna do about Priscilla Presley? Like, it is expressly made for women. It's made by Sofia Coppola. And
Well, they're going to make Elvis look like what he was. Like
Yeah.
a drug addict, like,
it's provocative that the Elvis
pedophile.
estate doesn't approve, and they're not going to let any of Elvis's music be played in the movie.
There you go.
So
That's how you know.
They're
I'm
probably
wondering
going
how
to tell the
that's
true
gonna go.
story. That I was talking to Linda about this yesterday. That what's his ex-wife's name? Not Lisa Marie. That's his daughter.
Wait, you mean Priscilla? Or?
Priscilla.
Yeah.
Priscilla was 14 years old when she started dating Elvis. He was 10 years
talked about
old.
that.
And make no mistake, when they make those stories and they expose him for that, that's not done because they love women. That's done because the people that make these movies are Marxists that just want to tear down every fabric of what made America what it was. They want to destroy Americana.
Well, they want you to not enjoy Elvis's music anymore, which is stupid because that's not going to happen.
It's not going to happen to Michael Jackson. People are still going to listen to Michael Jackson. People are still going to listen to Elvis. People still listen to R. Kelly. He just gave out $560,000 in royalties to people that were victims of him because at the end of the day, somebody's like, he peed on a couple of kids. I'm just gonna listen to the music.
Don't have a line that it can be crossed at this point. Like it would be very hard for me to not stream someone's music anymore. Like I listen to Chris Brown. I'll listen to anyone who is like probably a terrible person. Like I don't
like just being able to separate the talent from the political and cultural side of it, you know?
It's hard. I mean, it's one of those things. I think it's more like when they're exposed later. If I think the person's a horrible person now, like especially with music, with movies, you don't have a choice. With movies, we review movies. I can separate art from artist very, very easily with that. Yeah. But music, there's so many more options. I'm just like, if I don't, I'm just not going to listen to it, right? Like, but it's just there's just a ton of other stuff to listen to. But with old stuff, you can't disassociate what that music means to you with what that person has done, because what that person has done is secondary to you. Like you can be sympathetic to what happened to another person, but the part of your brain that really identified with that music is still, it's more powerful.
I mean, there's a lot of music I like that I don't identify with, and it doesn't matter to me.
I grew up listening to mostly gangster rap. It had nothing to do with my life experience.
Right.
Like I can listen to Do or Die and realize that has nothing to do with my life.
Are you guys Swifties? What is your take on Taylor Swift and like the fact that she's become such a cultural force in recent years compared to like being a big pop star? It's like gone to another level.
It has. Can we plead the fifth? We're really scared of the Swifties.
No, please, like say what you want to say.
No. We
They're
can't.
Scared of them.
We're scared. No, the Swifties are really terrifying people.
You don't have to worry about that here. There aren't Swifties in the chat.
Look, I think that Taylor Swift, I can see, you know, she writes her own music, which I'm sure that it's great, you know, to somebody just as far as like artistic appreciation or whatnot. She plays her own instruments. But, you know, I'm on the conspirational side of things where her fame seems inorganic and fabricated, whether that be through, you know, PR and marketing or, you know, worshiping the devil, whichever way it is. I do feel like there's something inorganic about just how big she is, because I mean, let's be honest, to be having a conversation in 2023 where we're comparing somebody like Michael Jackson to Taylor Swift, I just never thought in a million years that we would be having a conversation like that. So
well, I think what actually makes hers more organic is that it didn't happen all at once. She got very, very popular, but where she's at now,
she got very popular in country music, and then she got very popular in pop music, and then she got way more popular.
She leans into that same side of it. She leans into the same, for the women, she leans into the side of the brain that men get into when they talk about Lord of the Rings lore.
They love the Easter eggs.
They love Easter eggs. They love anything to do with her, and it speaks to that part of the brain that goes to fandom. So people that heavily identify with an artist, or I mean, unfortunately, we see it with politicians now too, right? People see Easter eggs, and they see all sorts of dog whistles everywhere because they find a person and they identify heavily with them. First of all, I caution against that for the most part with most things. Like, don't tie your identity to things like that. But she's found a way to,
her fan base has also grown up with her, right? I think that like Britney's representative of that. Like when you grew up on, people that grew up with Britney Spears don't care that she's like lost her shit and that she's a disaster right now. They still love her because they associate Britney's peak to their youth, good times, fun times. They associate with the music. So I feel like Taylor has that same kind of like fan base. It's for the same reason that the Backstreet Boys can still go out on concert and people still go see them, because they've grown up with that fan base.
She's got multiple generations following her very closely.
I've got female friends who are like at the Backstreet Boys concert. I'm like, I didn't even know that was a thing. That's a thing.
Can they still perform?
Taylor, can I just say something? Taylor doesn't have the voice or doesn't have the moves of Michael Jackson.
Definitely not the moves of Michael Jackson.
I'm not gonna shit on her talent or her ability to tap into her market, because she does have a market. It's not for me. I only know a few songs that are good, like Love Story, and I forgot the other ones. But she sucks at dancing. Like it's kind of
charming and endearing with that. It's humanizing.
I do like the idea that it just doesn't get better. There's just 10 years of
progressively worse.
But the fact is, like, she's a worse singer than maybe a comparable Ariana Grande, and yet has a way bigger fan base.
She doesn't have the voice either.
It proves to you that it's subjective. That these things seems fabricated. They have a life. They have a life of their own.
I just think she had a better management company than somebody else at the right time that capitalized on it. I don't think that there's necessarily anything that's that special about Britney Spears. I mean, I'm sorry, not Britney. Britney's the epitome of everything. About Taylor, that would be different from any other pop artist in her time. I really just think that a lot of these things have to do with how successful your management company is, your PR company is, and what kind of access you're getting. Yeah, it's, you know, if you're...
She's, I think for the women appeal is that, from what the other day I made a post asking Swifties on my Wake Up with Linda account, like what the appeal is. And a lot of it comes from like women growing up with her, right? From like the first album and like being teenagers, and now they're like 30 years old. Also that she talks about all these men, like all these heartbreaks and all these.
It's never their fault. It's always the guy's fault.
So it's you know, she speaks to like that type of like women and men dynamics.
There's another conversation there that we should get into.
How she's a hoe?
And how Taylor Swift is absolutely like one of the biggest hoes in pop, and nobody looks at her that way.
She has a very virginal Madonna image in the public. It's because of the way she looks. It's the way she dresses and her style.
She's not talking about her sex life. She's talking about her love life, which is different.
Yeah, but I mean, how many serious boyfriends can you have in the span of a year? You know, like she's like switching out these boyfriends all the time, so you know that she's with them. So she's a hoe, but nobody looks at Taylor Swift as a hoe.
It's all about the image.
Do any of these guys,
which we go back, we talk about this so much, which is some people just give off whole energy, and there's girls out there that are gonna have bodies and don't give off that whole energy. Like a Taylor Swift is a perfect example of that. Where society doesn't judge them the same way that they do. Like there's a lot of conversations in the back pages of like gossip columns or whatnot that Kylie Jenner, who everybody would argue is a very like has capitalized on her sexuality, has actually considers herself asexual. Like she's not really like in like that sexual of a person, and that's not something that you would associate with somebody that sells their sexuality as their brand.
There have been like adult film stars who've said the same thing, where like they do it for work, but like when they're done with work, they have no interest in it whatsoever.
That's a little bit harder to believe, you know. That one's a little bit harder to believe, but I do know that
I believe they've desensitized themselves.
We talk about this often, which is whole energy, and there are some women that, despite what it is that they do or don't do in the bedroom, are going to give off that energy, and that's significantly, I think, more important than like asking somebody, "What's your body count?"
Taylor gives off live, laugh, love energy.
Yes, she does. Yes, she does.
Hobby
She's
Lobby
wholesome.
energy.
She just gives off a wholesome
she
vibe.
gives off the wholesome vibe. I agree.
Charcuterie board energy.
Charcuterie board,
Wine mom.
brunch.
Wine mom.
She loves brunch.
Wine moms, yes, that is the energy. That's like, very much.
She's
like,
actually
even
no,
when
not
she
wine mom.
had
She gives
the-
off wine aunt energy.
When she had the
She does.
Reputation
I'm hearing
era.
pumpkin spice and Ugg boots and stuff like that coming up when I think of Taylor.
Nobody believed that she was actually a bad girl, but she had the Reputation area. It was funny because she's like not a villain. But yeah.
All right, but I'm just saying, $26 million in tickets sold.
It's a lot of money.
Hollywood, the onus is on you now to figure out what the hell you're doing, because people don't want to see gender swapped superhero movies with women. They want to see, and if the women are in those movies, they want them to look hot. They don't want them to look fugly. And if you're not gonna do that, then you better figure out a way to appeal to the female market, because they've got their laptop jobs and they're ready to spend the money. You just have to bring them in somehow.
Yeah. Let's catch up on some of these super chats. Disco Jensen said, Brett, check the volume for the party.
I did.
Is the volume down?
No, he sent that early.
Oh,
so
okay.
that was before the first crisis party.
Jimmy Bags 86 said, Bella and Linda both Spanish. I think he means and pretty. Much to think about there. Corey Anderson said, ladies, were you offended when Alex Stein called AOC his favorite big booty Latina? If you were referred to in that way, how would you respond?
Yes.
Actually. Well, we think that Alex Stein is cringe. We think that that's an awful
degenerate.
way. Like, yeah, he's a degenerate. Like, conservatives embrace this guy, but meanwhile, he goes on his podcast and like lifts up his legs and like points his asshole. I'm sorry, I don't know, at his audience. And to me, it's like there's really not a lot of things that are conservative about Alex Stein, and it's not so much that because I'm a Latina that was like offensive. We just think like, what is a conservative commentator doing?
I'm not sure he would call himself conservative, though.
Yeah,
I think he would just say like, I'm a
appealing.
performer.
Yeah, but he's definitely appealing.
He's appealing to the conservative circles. He's being picked up mainstream by conservatives.
He wouldn't deny that part, but I don't think he'd call himself conservative.
He clowns like the LGBT stuff, the transgender stuff, abortion. So, to me, it's
from what I understand, he is quite like socially liberal.
Yeah,
in his real opinion.
People who
he
watch
really
this
has
show
found a home in the conservative party.
Yes.
Those are the people that are his audience right now. And I don't, this is also the same problem that I have with the RP space creeping into the conservative political circles. And it's that I don't think that if conservatives are going to conserve anything, I don't think they should be elevating characters like Alex Stein or Pearlie Davis that advocate for men to have promiscuous lifestyles, or he thinks it's okay to go up to a woman.
It's disrespectful to go after a woman.
A woman, period.
Despite whatever it is, whether she's black or she was calling her a black booty, whatever, a big booty black girl or like a white girl. I just think it's he's like, I get it.
I think
she's still a politician at the end of the day. And I say tar and
the
feather
unintended.
She's still a woman. You wouldn't do that. You don't go up to a random woman on the street and be like, "You've got a good booty."
Was right next to him, and then recently he was like bothering like another pregnant girl at Taco Bell, I think. And I don't know the context of it, so I asked online, like, what is the context of it, of him just like randomly targeting a pregnant woman at Taco Bell? I think she hit him. And I don't know. I don't
know about that. I'm just saying, like, if you're a politician and you're in the public space, I think that you've made yourself like you have to be able to accept fair play from both sides.
The unintended good consequence of him doing that with AOC, I think, was because she later went to the press that day and admitted that the police were welcoming people into the Capitol building during J6, but
there's still AOC is still a politician. You're a public figure. You're going to get dunked on by comedians.
You are, but you know the scene with the girl at the Taco Bell was a couple of weeks ago.
I don't know. I don't know about that. If that happened,
that seems a little messed up.
If that's
it
just
was
a random
incredibly
person,
messed up.
He posted it. I actually reshared it on our Twitter, and I asked, "What's the context of this? Like, this is pretty crazy."
No, she hit him afterwards.
I
the
know.
context was that he was being rude. He was like in a hurry with the fast food worker, and the woman was standing up for the fast food workers and telling him it's a packed restaurant, things are moving slow, just calm the hell down. And then that's when he pulled out his phone and started recording the interaction.
Sketch Therapy says he was making a video and she got mad that she was in the background.
Okay.
She wasn't in the background. He started recording her specifically, and then she was like, "Well, don't record me." But he started recording because she was upset that he was being, I guess, abrasive with the workers at the Taco Bell about his food taking too long, and that's what starts him recording the conversation. But what was it that he did to that fighter recently? So it's a Muslim fighter, and he thought that it would be hysterical
on him
to throw a bunch,
right? But the hot dogs were actually like turkey, like they weren't
didn't
actually
that happen
pork.
here?
Did it? I'm not entirely sure, but I saw it and I was really taken back by it because
Like
it's
at
just
the
so.
studios?
It's very disrespectful.
Wasn't that on Culture War?
I have no idea.
I don't
Was
watch
that?
Culture War, so I don't know. But he was, from what I remember, that was a
I'm not
debate between
entirely
him
sure.
and a Muslim.
It could have been. It was a debate,
personality
but
of
to
some
me, like
kind.
that's like
Okay.
If we're Christian, we believe in Jesus Christ, and I still don't feel like
he's Jewish, and if you were to do anything, you'd be anti-Semitic. Let's think about
Right,
that for a
correct.
second. You can't even look at them the wrong way. So.
I can't speak to the Taco Bell one, but politicians I am annoyed that the as awful as late night TV is, it would have been less awful if every one of these people went after all politicians rather than just some, because all politicians deserve your scorn and your ridicule.
Oh, this is true. We definitely back this up, including more so the people in your own party.
All parties, scorn, ridicule. Shouldn't be a lifetime job.
No, absolutely not. Term limits 2024.
Let's do two more.
Okay, Isaac Martinez said, "Who would have known pizza can divide people?"
Tell that to the people who
that's a Hillary Clinton
and the pineapple pizza discussion. We had one the other day. I said, okay, ladies, I'll ask you guys this then: Chicago style pizza, New York style pizza, or Detroit style pizza?
Ooh, New York.
New York.
New York.
I think New York ended up winning with a handily
It's just
with 50%.
what actually pizza is.
Yeah.
Like Chicago pizza
That's
is
what
not
it is.
pizza.
Yeah.
Neither is pineapple on pizza.
When I go to New York, I always make sure to get pizza. When I go to Chicago, if I've dodged everything, then I might stop and get pizza. But you have to go with other people because it's a sit down restaurant.
Never been to Chicago.
We got a $20 one from Ryle Kittenhouse. I like Alex. He's right about the moon landing. I agree with.
I enjoy anytime they go off into their I like it when Tim goes off into talking about firmament and the end of the planet and flat Earth and stuff like that, because it's ridiculous discussions.
It's a ridiculous conversation that is a lot of fun to have. I just wish people didn't take it so seriously.
Yes.
They get so angry on the internet, like the world is not flat. It's like, dude, calm the fuck down. None of us are gonna know the difference of that anyways.
All right, let's hold off on the rest. Let's talk about Crystal Hefner. If you don't know who that is, she was a Playboy bunny who was married to Hugh Hefner. Second wife.
Oh, that's
and
right,
shocking.
after Holly.
She has some things to say because she's in the memoir stage of her life, right?
You do things you regret when you're a young woman, and you later enter your memoir stage where you write this expose and blame everyone else for all the bad decisions you made in your past. So Crystal Hefner recalls group sex at Playboy Mansion with Hugh Hefner. Quote, "It was embarrassing." I think it's more embarrassing to talk about this openly at this stage than it was for that to happen in the first place.
Tell that to any.
It's true. True.
Tell that to any. It's the. I always post. There's this great, really funny video where this girl's trying to talk to a guy. He's in his apartment. She's on the street, and she's like, "Open your window." He's like, "Leave me alone." And she's like, blah blah blah. You suck, and you suck in bed. You only lasted 2 minutes. And he stops. And he goes, Still hit though, and then everybody in the street goes, ah!
It's just an own. You can't.
Hefner doesn't care. First of all, Hefner doesn't care because he's dead. But he's like, I'm 80 years old.
He's
and
gonna come
I've got
haunt her and be like, I still hit though.
She's not the only one. Haven't there been like some of the? Didn't like Holly Madison come out with a tell-all book too that was like
There's a
defamatory?
$20 one right there from Beanbag Actual.
Brett, it's not flat Earth anymore. It's donut Earth now. Oh, I didn't hear about this.
The donut Earth pictures are amazing. It's perfect. And then the moon is essentially a donut hole in the middle of the donut. Yeah.
Okay, so Crystal Hefner's memoir is called Only Say Good Things, Surviving Playboy and Finding Myself.
Oh dear.
This says it offers a raw and unflinching look at the objectification and misogyny of the Playboy mansion, her stolen young adulthood.
She was a 25-year-old teenager, Mary.
Dude.
She was not responsible for her own actions.
She was 21 when she first visited the Playboy mansion. She started dating Hugh Hefner when I believe she was like 22 or 23. They got married when she was 26 years old. Sounds like that's a personal problem. Like no one stole your young adulthood from you.
You know what? I want to know what kind of money she didn't get after he passed away, because what it sounds like is like she's trying to cash in on something because you're his girlfriend.
Son's probably
you're his
her
girlfriend, so you're living in this very lavish lifestyle in this mansion with cooks and chefs and clothes and all the good things and parties and everything that you want. And now this guy drops dead from one day to the next, and you got to find a grift somewhere because she probably didn't get a lot of money.
In exchange for all that, you had to degrade yourself doing sexual acts that you didn't want to do. Well,
I'd argue that this idea
it?
that they didn't want to do them is arguable.
I mean, she claims that now. Maybe she's
It's
trying to
very
rewrite
easy to
history.
claim that.
Right, because there's a paycheck on the line for it. Now she's got the memoir. But the reality is that, what Holly Madison is a perfect example. When she wanted him to propose to her, when she was one of 7 girlfriends, she wasn't having that conversation about whether or not it was immoral that they were in their underwear having threesomes in the grotto or whatnot. She was loving that lifestyle. Now that and this is exactly the kind of issue that we have, we don't even want to open up that can of worms, but there's a lot of these tradcon women, right, that have pasts like they do, and then instead of just accepting that was part of your past, you moved on, you got married, you have kids, you have a life, you moved on. Now you got to talk about that. Oh, I'm so ashamed of what I did back then, and it was so embarrassing, and I'm such a victim of my past. It's like,
thank you guys.
Yeah, sorry, hold on. Hold please. Thank you. I get the picture with what you're saying.
Yeah.
I get exactly what you mean.
Remember when people still talk about it now about how you can be a born-again virgin?
I don't think you could be a born-again virgin. I just think that there's life after hoeing for hoes. Like, as long as you leave your whole days, as long as you leave your whole
That's
days
the name
behind.
of Holly Madison's next book.
Life after hoeing. I'll be at least creative.
Mary, you're too young to understand what it was like in the early 2000s when this was such a big deal. Whether we're talking about Paris Hilton, whether we're talking about Hugh Hefner and all of these shows, it was not just common, it was normal, it was accepted practice, and you were not shamed.
Next Door, right? That was the show.
You were not shamed for being a hoe. You were not in that context, not in like these television shows. They were not seen as less than. It was just seen as the next stage of sexual liberation.
Do you guys remember?
Kendra went to get married and have children.
Not Kendra. Remember when Christina Aguilera first came out with the Dirty video, which was like her coming out.
Yes,
from
I do.
This super wholesome, Disney type pop culture icon, and then she has this Dirty video where she's an absolute degenerate in the video. She never lost her value. People were like, oh my God, I can't believe that. That's not what culture was like back then. It was very different.
It was accepted practice.
Yeah. I mean, I personally think it's great that there's hoe shaming going on right now. I don't think that that's a bad thing. I think less women should be hoes, personally. But I do think that there's life after hoeing. I think that it's a horrible thing to tell women that because they had fun in their 20s.
What are you supposed to do? Seppuku?
Right.
I don't get it.
See, it's like I have no.
They literally want you, people like Pearl, people in the manosphere, they want you to basically unalive yourself or put yourself into a life of misery, locked away on an island somewhere in a house and never talk to anybody again and just spend the rest of your life like
it's
repenting
like,
for
I mean, what is Pearl
sins,
even supposed to do? Because Pearl isn't a virgin.
Right.
And she's career obsessed.
And is
over 25.
Very career oriented.
So here's the best way that I think, when I say hoes should be shamed, here's the best way to shame a hoe. Your choices. Don't consume hoe material, don't watch pornography, don't date hoes. You don't go out of your way to go into a woman's comments and tell her you're a hoe. No one cares. You just sound like an incel on the internet. I think that the best,
when we're older, like,
the best punishment for hoes, which is the argument we always make, society isn't actually punishing hoes because fresh and fit exists. As long as hoes continue to have,
hoes are punishing themselves with their bad behavior.
You know, somebody like I know that you guys recently had, well, not you guys, but Tim recently had Fresh and Fit on the podcast, and Myron was on there, and he talks all the time about how women are hoes, women are hoes, women are hoes. But Myron has been found on sugar baby sites looking for girlfriends. So if you're on a sugar baby site where women are exchanging their companionship as a for a transactional exchange for money, then don't be shocked that women are hoes, because you're surrounding yourself with hoes.
And you're the main beneficiary.
You're the main benefit. So
hoeing.
Don't reward that behavior. Don't reward it. It's pretty simple.
I just, at the end of the day, take responsibility
for this Crystal Hefner story. I would say it's an example where a woman will be complicit in or participating in something that she thinks deep down is wrong, until the strategic point at which it's more beneficial for her to say,
I don't think she
I disagreed with it the whole time. I thought it was disgusting the whole time. I was scandalized by it the whole time, when in reality, like, you were one of the people who was
worse.
implicated in this.
I don't believe that she thought it was wrong back then, and I don't believe she thinks it's wrong right now. I think she sees a paycheck and saying that it's wrong.
Well, here's what she says.
Correct. I think that's like her new grift.
Yeah.
She says that Hugh Hefner would be controlling of all the girlfriends.
Yes,
that
of course.
He would even decide what shade of nail polish she wore, would tap her on the head when her roots were showing, and imposed a 6 p.m. curfew so Crystal would join him for a dinner of chicken soup with cream cheese and crackers daily. That sounds disgusting. After dinner was group sex, she said. It was embarrassing. I don't know the most people there'd been in our bedroom at one time, but a lot. Pretty bad. We were like, oh, now it's your turn. Nobody really wanted to be there, but I think in Hef's mind, he still thought he was in his 40s, and those nights, the people, the mansion, solidified that idea. He felt, I've still got it. And he also would take so much Viagra that he lost hearing in one side, claiming Hef always said he'd rather be deaf and still able to have sex. Weird.
Look,
that's how men are.
At the end of the day, like, they can shame Hef all they want, but the dude probably died extremely happy.
And like, honestly, all that's telling me is that she went to bed with this guy for how long?
Yeah.
Like, do you know? Like, you've got to be a special kind of woman to date a man that's at that point in his life. Like, Hef could hardly walk.
Years old.
Right.
Years old.
Like, what are you knew why you were with him, you knew why you went into the mansion, you liked the luxury that came with being with Hugh Hefner, and then he croaked, you didn't get anything out of it, and now you're gonna write a tell-all book so that you can get your bankroll up. It's really what it is. I don't think that there's any real shame for her lifestyle. She enjoyed it while she was having it.
Yeah, I just think that these first of all, I think the conclusion here is that this is just a grift, because I think she's ran out of cash. She's not relevant. She's not hot and young enough to be able to go back into hoeing and or do Playboy. And
you gotta retire. Hoeing's
that's it. You know, where are her savings? She has no talent, so I'm not really sure how she's making money. I think that's it. But the bottom line is that these women are not victims. You're not a victim when you willingly, like, it's kind of like what I said earlier. Like, everybody knows, in my opinion, that Barbie is a feminist symbol because she could do everything. She was supposed to be the president, an architect, whatever she wanted.
An
astronaut. And it's the same thing with Playboy.
While looking like Holly Madison.
Right. Everybody knows that Playboy means sex, nudity, degenerate. So if you are auditioning or you're part of Playboy or you go date this guy, like, what else did you expect? You're a sister wife. You're sharing this man with the 3 girls that live there, plus all the other playmates that come around throughout the entire. So,
and they're all like 19 to 22 years old. Like, why are you shocked?
That's why they're now saying, like, they stole her young adulthood. You're an adult, dude. Make your adult decisions.
Yeah, she also claims, like, I went into this whole Playboy Mansion world because I just felt like I had nowhere else to go, and like I couldn't make something of myself. But you proved your own assumption about yourself right by staying there and underestimating what you were capable of. And another person here in this story who thinks that he is a victim is Hugh Hefner's son, Marston Hefner, who is now 33 years old and has an OnlyFans account.
What?
He says that he was raised with a double standard about pornography and nudity. He says there was a double standard when it comes to nudity and sex work. They believe it's not as acceptable for men to strip down as it is for women. You can be the CEO of people getting naked, but don't be the person getting naked. You can pay sex workers, but you can't effing be one. It's effing BS. That upsets me. And he says, my mom posed for Playboy. I was never ashamed of it. I didn't want to see her naked, but it was also just normal. Nudity is normal. I heard that all the time. And he says, like, doing sex work was normalized in his mind because he was raised around nudity, which doesn't sound healthy at all. Like, that... Am I just supposed to read that and be like, that's totally
like
normal?
cults that
doesn't sound traumatic at all for a child to be raised around group sex and nudity in basically a porn machine. Like,
I mean, isn't there Children of God? Wasn't that like a cult that was they always hung out naked in front of their children? And there's like Rose McGowan was a member of that cult. There's a couple of like famous people that were members of that cult. And
Rose McGowan was part of that.
Yeah, she grew up in a cult, and she wasn't the only one. There's a couple of other celebrities that did as well. You know what's hilarious about this story that we just covered is that he's like, oh, you know, it's a one-way street and it's frowned down upon. It's not frowned down upon for men to have OnlyFans accounts. It's just that the biggest consumers of this are men. So there's going to be, in fairness, I'm sure we looked at his numbers. The majority of people that are subscribed to his OnlyFans channel are probably other males that are gay.
That's true.
Because they are the main consumers.
Which, weirdly enough,
this content.
he's married to a woman. I didn't expect that.
I was not expecting that with that picture that you just showed us.
Yeah. He also says on OnlyFans, people are really friendly. They say they find me attractive, which is nice. They find my interests and my genuineness interesting. It's just a positive experience. He thinks that people that subscribe to his OnlyFans are interested in him as a person.
They're actually gay men.
And all the people that bought Playboy from his dad bought it for the articles.
Yeah,
It's intellectual, you know. Like,
I'm very interested in what the women.
Women are not subscribing to men on OnlyFans. We're not wired that way.
The people that subscribe to him are gay men.
Yeah.
So that's who his audience is.
That's who his audience is, and I'm sure that maybe they do care about his interests genuinely.
Yeah,
they're not women.
When he's discussing them in the nude.
I don't really believe it. I'm not buying it.
I love it. What kind of content does he have? Is it like hardcore or just?
No, he says that he like hasn't really gone that far, but it's like tasteful nudity, which
artistic.
he believes is an arbitrary distinction between that and pornography. And I guess I would agree since he puts it that way.
It is kind of like it's like when a girl posts a bikini photo and then she posts a regular photo, and you look at the like number from picture to picture. There's a disparity. That's why we get things like the woman who posted like praying for Maui, and it's a bikini photo, and you're like, she's like, I really do care about
awareness.
She's like, I really do care about Maui, but I really, really want to raise awareness for Maui,
and
I really want to raise awareness to how hot I looked.
This goes back to the point that we make on Mostly Peaceful Latinas all the time, which is that men love hoes because they continue to reward the behavior. If they didn't, there wouldn't be millionaire OnlyFans girls with majority male-dominated population.
It's really weird that like all these hose pics are on Instagram publicly for free. You can look at them whenever you want, but why do you click like? why do you click like? Like, what does that have to do with anything? You got to see the photo. You got like the dopamine that you wanted out of looking at the photo. Why do you need to hit like on the photo?
Because they think that she's going to open that thing and she's like,
do they think she's scrolling through her notifications?
It's just that simple. They're fans and they like it. Like it's like
you couldn't show your bias.
The thing is that like honestly, and here's the thing, like you think they'd have some level of self-awareness where like I don't want to be in some naked girls, like there's literally a butthole looking back at you and your name is right under said butthole, like oh hey, you know, like so and
you
so
are
like
on a
this
documented
photo.
list,
and
like
then
like an FBI watch list.
Then they'll have the audacity to go into the comment section of like a Fresh and Fit or Donovan Sharp or Saucecast or whatever it is and talk about like all women are whores. It's like, dude, I
just
literally
look at the following lists of any of those dudes. It's all the same.
There's a lot of girls in Miami who they're like Instagram models or whatever, and they have an OnlyFans. I don't necessarily think they do porn. I think it's more like
lingerie
or like I don't think they even do like full nudity, but all of them are either married or have boyfriends. Yeah. So at least for our zip code, our county, I can tell you that these girls are not struggling to find husbands or boyfriends. They're not. Actually, a lot of times, and it happened to me very recently because I was talking about Andrew Tate on my story, a husband replied back to me, and he was like, "Oh, if you feel like this about Andrew Tate, do you think that I'm wrong for managing my girls' OnlyFans?" And I was like, if it's consensual, like,
because you called him a digital pimp.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's unfortunate that
these girls are not
the clapback to a girl on OnlyFans is, you should stop doing this because you won't get male validation. Like, she's doing it for male validation in the first place, and she should stop doing it because it would be good for her.
For her life, her mental stability.
It would be good for her.
Right, correct, correct.
This is where is the normal, like, human compassion, you know?
But again, it's also an ideology that's based on bullshit, because these girls get constant male validation. They're like, oh, they'll always say something like, yeah, but they get married to simps. Bro, no one cares. Like, there's no wife that's being treated like a queen at home with a husband that loves her, takes care of her. She's got children that's thinking, wow, my husband is a simp.
It's a simp because user 339 said that he was a simp. Come on.
One from High Voltage 75. I read recently that Drea De Matteo, Adriana from The Sopranos, age 51, started an OF. Do you think we'll see more and more actresses going that route as they age out of their careers?
Denise Richards already did with her daughter.
Did she?
Yes.
With her daughter?
Her daughter already had
Charlie
one.
Sheen's daughter?
Yes, Sammy Sheen. Yeah.
Yeah, and Charlie Sheen reportedly does not approve.
That's the audacity of Charlie Sheen.
Drugs in the house.
Drugs in the house.
Yeah, I mean, as it becomes more socially acceptable, and also since I'm not exactly going and researching these things, I don't know what type of content they're posting on there.
That does make it. We have a politician that actually ran in my district for us, down in the city council and commission board, that had an OnlyFans page for her campaign.
Oh.
Yes, and I know. I wanted to get her on the show.
Yeah, Martha.
I wanted to get her on the show.
Martha,
why?
It would have been funny. It would have been.
Wait, you mean it's an OnlyFans page with like actual porn on it?
No, she does suggestive.
It was a troll.
Yeah, like she'll put out like a video, right? And it's her calling the commissioner, but she's like, "Hi, this is me. You've got some big things on the agenda for today." Like shit like that, right? Like it wasn't like that she was using the OnlyFans as a platform to push that on.
That's kind of funny.
All right, let's go to Super Chats.
Shane H. Wilder said, never trust a man who tucks in his t-shirt. If he doesn't know basic male clothing edict, I'm not going to trust him to make a good pizza. That's very true.
I mean, with normcore being as big as it was in the 2010s, like, you're going to have a hard time not finding the guys who wear the baggy Dickies with the tucked in shirt. Not my thing, but you know. Rockstar Podcast said, Dave Portnoy has never been on my radar, but this interaction makes him look like a douchebag. This interaction creates my first impression of him. Yep. Not great. Nope. Cornell said, happy Friday, PCC. What are the mostly peaceful Latinas' opinions on men caring for women's eyelashes? Inquiring minds want to know. Yeah. Do men find women more attractive when they have long eyelashes or not? I think that men love to lie to themselves and say that they don't appreciate when women wear makeup, and I think it's a lie. I think that they lie to themselves. I think that ideally men don't want to see clown makeup on, like a lot of these like really elaborate things that happen with their makeup, and I think that full lashes are a sign of health and vitality, and therefore they would be more attractive to women with naturally long eyelashes. I think when it seems fake, clearly it doesn't have the same effect, but I do think that to narrow it down to just, oh, how do you feel about women's eyelashes? I don't think men can be actually honest about that question, because if you showed them pictures of what women look like with no eyelashes and then compared them to pictures of women with eyelashes, 9 times out of 10 they're going to pick the girl with eyelashes. So there you go, My point being that if we're going to shame men for not knowing when you change your hairstyle, I don't want to hear that he's micromanaged, that he's looking at the length of your eyelashes and thinking deeply about it. No, I think his lizard brain is looking at the eyelashes. I don't think he noticed. And I'm not saying it's the lizard brain. I'm not doing the lame women look better with no makeup argument at all. It's just a noticing. At all. But to your argument, I think that most men wouldn't notice even. I think that women want to be recognized, and they're like, oh, I got a new hairstyle, I feel pretty. But to men, it's all a visually what gives out vitality, what makes you seem like a person who's like ready to give me offspring right now. And having healthy, beautiful long hair is a sign of health. Therefore, men are attracted to that. But it's very much from the lizard brain perspective. It's not that they're consciously aware of it. It's and we had this discussion recently. It was a poll I put up on the chat the other day. It was very controversial. What was the actual poll? It was like, do men care about women's eyelashes? And everyone was like, no, we don't
care about the eyelashes. But you do. You do.
And maybe it's like the ugly fan, like kind of tarantula looking eyelashes that we're talking about,
gross.
which I find hideous personally. And it's hilarious that the other day there was this girl that got lost in Miami on a jet ski. And her videos, like her in the middle of the ocean, she's like, I went too far, I don't know what to do, like, you know, just being dramatic on like TikTok. And I go to the comment section because I'm like, what are people saying? And the guy, I like screenshot it, goes, turn them lashes on and get back to shore. And I was laughing because for real, she had like like, just turn them out. Dude, I was dying laughing. So some of them I think are like really distasteful, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Again, these are more of those discussions that are dividing everyone because it's just not a conversation.
Because the world is stupid.
Because the world is stupid and what it wants is content. Who cares if we destroy the relationship between men and women? We're creating content here.
Johnny Beck, thank you for the thumbs up. Derpa Lipa said, women get more men around 30 because if they don't have kids by that point, the baby rabies sets in and they suddenly learn to overlook flaws. That is all.
Well, no, because the comment has nothing to do with women actually accepting men on these offers. It's just, you know, you get hit on more at that age. I see. You turn down more people at that age.
People like this just always have to find a way to shit on women.
Yeah, one way or another.
For naturally aging.
It's the reality is that we talk to women.
And your penis won't work one day. And you're going to have to eat Viagra like Hugh Hefner.
To that conversation, women, a lot of women in their 30s, most women in their 30s will not feel comfortable dating younger men, and younger men hit on women in their 30s. I feel like I got hit on more around that age by younger men than I ever had in my entire life.
Why do you think that is? Do you think it's like
I think it's a confidence issue.
Do you think that they would do that more with women that age than women their own age? Because it's like when it's an older woman, they're like, I'm just going to shoot my shot.
No, I think that it's contrary to what it is that the RP wants to claim. At 30 years old, you're a lot more confident with who you are. Like everything from the way that you carry yourself, the way that you speak, the way that you dress, you're a lot more settled into who you are as a person. And because of that, you know, you also have more money. So you have access to better haircuts, eyelashes, tans, better style. Yeah. So you could see yourself as more attractive at 30. And if you ask women when they felt their most attractive, you'd be shocked that more often than not, they're not going to tell you when I was 22. I felt awkward when I was 22.
I know my mom would say 30.
30 years old is the answer that we get the majority of the time, is that women felt their aside from the fact that they also got more suitors at that age, they felt their most attractive at 30 because they also felt more confident within their own body at 30. But that's my perspective. And another thing Linda and I have talked about several times, when older women get with younger men, they're not regular relationships. These younger men become obsessed with older women that they're with.
Yeah.
Which is like a little unhealthy.
I mean, to some degree, but it's like the perfect example that we're watching right now with Logan and with Nina. He like fantasized about this woman for years before he was old enough to gain access to her. Not a lot, but 4 or 5 years.
No, she's not that much older. He's 28, I think, and she's 31.
Yeah, so 4 or 5 years.
3 years.
But that's still, you know, when a woman's in their 30s, for a 24, 25-year-old to hit on you, like it's still a big discrepancy in age, especially that men mature slower than women do. And the majority of the time, what you'll find is that women are ashamed of those relationships. They don't want to go public with them. They don't want to say that they're dating a younger man. It's usually the younger guy that's like, oh, I love you. I want to get married. I don't want to have babies. And that maybe the older woman's more like, yo, dude, like calm down. Like you're younger. We're not there yet or whatever.
Quit being a simp, she says to the guy. No.
I don't know about that. I've got theories on simp. I think that the difference between simps and a good guy are simps are always looking for some kind of transactional reciprocation from women, where I'm nice to you conditionally. I'm nice to you because I want to date you, have access to you, or whatever it is. You're not nice.
It's not when you tell a girl like text me when you get home. Like,
right.
And if they don't get what they want from the transaction, they react poorly.
Yeah, that's, you know, and they also can't accept rejection. They think that if they do more things, which is why you hear these horror stories of, oh, I used to give her money every week, or I used to drive her everywhere, I used to take her on vacations. And it's like, how long did it take you to accept that woman was not interested in you? Yeah. And that's what turns a good guy, a man that opens up doors, that's nice, that's texting you when you get home, that buys you a gift because he's genuinely nice. Like those guys are not simps. The simps are the men. Those men are going to know when to take a step back and show respect for themselves, where it's like, well, this girl's just not that interested in me, so I'm not going to continue to invest in her, as opposed to these men that are looking for something in return. So they think that by calling you more, buying you more, paying you more attention, that somehow they're going to crack the code and gain access to this woman that has already showed them, I'm not interested.
The going back to the older women, younger male dynamics, which we actually had somebody on the panel that's in an age gap relationship, him being the younger one and her being older with a child already. And what a lot of these younger men on YouTube, I don't know if your audience is like that, but our audience is like that, is that because they are in their early 20s and they say, well, we don't want a woman like a single mom and all, and that's all fine. Like, nope, not a single person is encouraging men, you know, especially younger men, to go out there and purposely date a single mom or whatever, get themselves into situationships. However, what ends up with these men are not understanding is that men like to chase. So if there's an attractive older woman who still looks good for her age, that you may think she's 28 and really she's not, she's 35 or 39 or whatever, but she looks significantly older based on her genetics, maybe she did more stuff, and you start chasing her, she's like, no, I'm an older woman, I'm a single mom, I got things to worry about, like I have different standards because I have a child. That becomes a chase for the man, even if at first it's just to sleep with her for practice, as they like to say on the internet. That dynamic of the women having higher standards and saying, no, you are younger than me, you're not going to be beneficial to me, especially because I have a child, believe it or not, drives them crazy.
Because men love the chase.
And
they do.
And they end up falling for these older women hard, because we have a couple friends who are in that situation. It's not a bad situation. They're with good women. It's just that they like the chase, you know?
Next. Go ahead.
Tacti Plati said, awkward moment, Mary. I agree with you about Portnoy.
What did you say about Portnoy?
I don't know.
Annoying.
We all kind of agreed that he seemed annoying. Derpa Lipa said, what was Red Pill 10 years ago is not the pickup artistry we see today. It was about men's rights and protecting your life and property. Now it's hookup.
Which we could agree with and get behind.
There were the Roosh V's of the world, though. Like, pickup artistry was still, like, a thing in the Red Pill years ago.
Yep.
But Roosh V is reformed now, I guess. Hiroshima Otaru said, The Pretender TV series is a good watch.
Yeah, it's on Amazon Prime. It's very cheese for late 90s, early 2000s, but it's Michael T. Weiss. Yeah, it's good. I recommend people check it out.
Wyatt Kaldenberg said, I've watched about 500 hours of the Manosphere. I think much of it is funded by the Asian sex industry. There are tons of men's rights videos that tell how much it costs to have a foreign girlfriend. You think our advertisements?
That's so funny. Well, they actually exposed somebody on X for advertising. They're supposed to be clowning women, but they exposed.
They advertised OnlyFans girls under their tweets.
They're supposed to be posting women's L's, and then people expose them because they're actually advertising the OnlyFans girls. Yeah,
shocking.
It's so funny.
Shocking. Hoes
People
win.
with no principles. Yeah. Half Baked Treehouse said, apropos to fidelity, hide your husband's wallet in his golf bag so he can find it when he gets to the course. Hiroshima Otaru said, this is about big talking LP being a cuck, not Nina Agdal.
Okay.
Logan Paul.
But I mean,
Logan Paul being a cuck, they say.
But I mean, what do they think? Like, here's the thing that I don't understand about the internet. Like, these people really think that they're going to shame Logan Paul into breaking up with the woman that has that clearly relationships develop how they develop. Probably has been there through hard times, has supported him, has loved him, has gone to bed with him, has cooked for him, has done all of these things. And you guys really think that you're going to shame him into breaking up that relationship because a bunch of people on the internet called him a cuck? Like,
I think
first of all, he's not a cuck, because a cuck by definition means that he's having Nina have sex with another guy, and that's not what's happening here. Nina had a past, and he decided to still propose to her despite that, and many men do, and chances are statistically you too will end up with a woman that has a past.
But what they're pointing is that his personality lends itself to the ridicule because he's such a easily hateable person.
But
that's
also,
what I told her.
Being an influencer, he's so like reliant on people's validation validation from the outside that he might actually let the internet make
Well, he's
his
a
life
really
decisions.
hated guy. I feel like, I don't know, you want me to tell you what I think is happening right now? I think that Nina is living the life right now. I think he's buying her presents, checking in on her every day. Baby, are you okay? I'm so sorry this is happening to you. I'm used to the hate, but you're not used to it. Nobody ever talked about that. She might, honestly, it would be a great strategy if she was, because I promise you that it's having the opposite effect at home than what the red pill community thinks it's actually happening.
I would hope so for their sake, but from the outside, what it looks like is like Logan Paul didn't really defend her publicly as soon as he should have.
Well, he waited.
He kind of let it keep getting worse and worse and becoming louder and louder, when if I were her, I would have been like, why the fuck aren't you like defending me in public? Because like it is about defending her honor, you know.
Well,
like it felt like he was not really on her side.
I feel like he's probably doing that behind closed doors, letting him know exactly. Like, I feel if anything, he probably feels so guilty. Like, you never had this kind of attention on you until you started dating me. You hesitated because he said on their podcast that she hesitated dating him because he was such a controversial figure. And now as a result of that union, she's now getting bullied that she's never received. She's getting attention that she's never received in a really negative way. I'm sure she's sad because she says that she's dealt with depression and anxiety before. So she's
never
probably
been bullied before.
that she's never been bullied. So I'm sure she's moping around the house, sad that, you know, now his fan base thinks that she's a hoe, and I'm so sorry, babe, that now they think of you that way. And what do you think his response is?
She probably shouldn't have made that video if she didn't want.
Right.
She shouldn't have made that video.
But what do you think his response is to seeing her crying and being sad right now? You think he's like, yeah, you're a hoe. I should have known before proposing to you. Oh, shut the fuck up.
I never saw that video. I'm out of here.
Yeah.
Okay. Derpa Lipa said 4 brunette hosts, 2 of which are in denial. Brett, show the blonde. show us the blonde. Yes.
Nice.
Not my choice. Not my choice. We had to get a certain amount of crisis parties, and I dyed my hair.
Oh, got it.
I've spent more time in like a salon this year than I ever have in my entire life.
Imagine what it's like to be me.
I don't know how ladies and gay men do it, because it's expensive as hell.
It is. Potatoes for Seamus said, "Okay, Brett."
What's that?
That was after the correction.
Oh, yes, thank you.
Hiroshima Otaru.
Never Brett with one T and definitely not Brent with an N.
Hiroshima Otaru said carbon credits started before Gore's movie. He sells them.
That's amazing. So he's like, does he sell like real estate on the ocean too? And other ironic ideas?
Shane H. Wilder said carbon credits. Oh, so a Ponzi scheme.
Well, I mean, like, it really is kind of, right?
Kinda.
It's like, selling people on the idea of virtue. Like, you're protecting
Where's the money
planet.
going?
I also saw this great thing the other day. It says, like, a tree falls on top of Ron DeSantis' house right after he took down a bill about climate change. It's like the bill, the hurricane was like, you know what? F this guy. He doesn't believe in climate
Mother
change.
Nature.
And dropped a tree on his house.
Colby Hansen said, of course that can't make a movie for women. They can't even define what a woman is.
That is true.
Valid.
They have a very hard time defining what a woman is. It is funny watching like politicians' brains short circuit when you ask them that very, very simple question.
Kai said, I look forward to winter when it's cold as a Swifty's bed. Ooh. Now since I had to pay extra, everyone on the panel give a rebel yell.
I'll listen to the song later.
How would you do that? I don't know.
I'm not doing it.
Okay.
Scream more, more, more.
Corey Anderson said, everyone knows Latinas' mothers would wallop them with a chancla if they didn't cook for their family.
Fact.
Is this a fact?
Is that true?
Yeah.
Thank you, guys.
I have not heard the word wallop in a while. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
It's the
All right.
I didn't expect us to get this behind on the super chats.
We're behind. That's okay.
Fear Means Bree said, you can't be a born-again virgin, but you can find forgiveness, redemption, and start new. That's what they don't teach you in the trad movement. That's true.
The trad movement always feels so performative. Just like the rest of it feels very... It's like
oh my God,
when they're wearing the floor-length floral dress, I'm like, bro, did you get that from your mom's closet? Like
because it's not even cool like the TikTokers. There's like TikTokers who are just like lifestyle influencers who actually dress very modestly and
You're talking
feminine.
about Ballerina Farm.
No, not her. She barely dresses up. She barely dresses up. I'm talking about like lifestyle. She's more of like a cooking influencer. I feel like.
Well, she's also like she's a pageant chick. Like she does dress up.
But like when I don't know, all the videos I've seen of her are in the kitchen, and she looks pretty bummy, and I like her. I'm not like saying this as a bad thing, but I'm talking about real lifestyle influencers, like girls that are like, talking about their hair and their makeup and this stuff, and they actually dress like
Sophia
trad
Richie.
and exactly
correct.
and like conservative with the night. It doesn't feel performative. It feels very authentic. The girl I showed you yesterday that lives like in a little farm, that she's very fairy like authentic, you know, like.
Yeah.
But these girls, like the trad cons from Turning Point USA and the conservative movement, is just like so fake and gay. A lot of them were actually ran through whores who fucked every single conservative influencer and every single media person, and it's just like you are ran through, and we're not gonna. I mean, it's okay if you're.
I mean, I think that the argument is more so
you reborn
Right.
and you're like married and cool now, but like.
Don't shit on women for doing the same things that you did. Like we see a lot of these like trad girls, trad wives, and then like they'll see a picture of a girl wearing a bikini online and they're like, cover up, you whore. And
Like,
it's
what reaction would have convinced you back in the day when you were behaving that way? Think about
I
it like that.
would have a testimony about
I mean,
people,
not you. I mean, like, to the girl who's saying
No,
that. Like,
if I would have been young and well, I mean, what would have sold me at that time and what did sell me on that time was that I made a choice to live a lifestyle where I wanted to have a traditional marriage, because I saw the testimony of people that were in traditional marriages had better lives. Like that, the testimony is the best thing you can choose. So if I was really trying to encourage young women to be more modest, I wouldn't alienate them by telling them, oh, you wear a bikini, so you're not worthy of being loved ever. I would simply show them like, you know, you can probably attract a much higher value man with a good marriage and have a good family if you practice these morals as opposed to, and this is the outcome that I saw of it. I think that the problem that we're seeing right now is that the slut shaming is just like, screw you, you know, you're not worth anything, you're worthless. But meanwhile, that same girl has got an inbox filled with dudes that are still into them, because society as a whole is still going to celebrate women's beauty and sexuality and youth and all these things. But as a woman, if we're going to teach more young women to accept modest lifestyles, I don't think that the shaming is what works. It's by showing them the rewards of what these modest lifestyles bring. This is the kind of marriage you can have, the kind of family you can have. This is sadly what happens to women that live the lifestyle you're living now for too long. This is how I think that that's a positive way of doing it, and probably significantly more effective than, you know, just telling women that they're worthless because they put on a bikini and a picture on the internet, and also showing women that there's life afterwards, right?
Mm-hmm. Corey Anderson said, would you rather have toes for fingers or fingers for toes?
I don't understand.
This is an age-old question.
Toes for fingers. Toes, fingers, no. Fingers for toes.
Yeah, sure.
Fingers for
Fingers
toes.
for toes.
Sure.
And just keep those socks and shoes on
Yeah.
all the time.
Yes.
No, you could just
Kai said, wait, what is this?
304.
I literally don't even know where to start. Is this English? 304 gotta
pose.
Yeah.
wear my clothes, F that the door, O it's the Family Feud dude survey says.
I'm getting half his dough.
I'm getting half his dough. P.S. Bring back Phil. I literally have no idea what
I'm
this
assuming
is.
those are song lyrics, but they're song lyrics that I don't know.
Stop sending song lyrics forever, please. And Kai also said, our bodies are natural. Most clothes are child labor. Oh, that's a weird excuse to be naked in public. Kai also said, dogs lick butts and you kiss them. I don't. I would never do that.
There's whole
lick a butt or kiss your dog.
There's whole compilations of like people like having weird kisses with their dogs. I'm just like,
yeah, it gets
who's
too
putting
much.
This stuff
it's
out
way
there?
too much. Derpa Lipa said, you guys have had guests on here who are all about the trad grift. How about getting some representation of the other argument, like Better Bachelor? Who has been
Better
on the
Bachelor?
trad grift?
Did we reach out to Better Bachelor at some
Who's
point?
Better Bachelor?
He's a YouTuber.
Oh,
I feel like
I don't know.
I feel like he might have been reached out to
Who
at
is
one
that?
point. Actually, I don't watch him, but it's like I feel like somebody here had a contact with them, and we reached out to him, and he might have. Oh no, never mind. There was. I'm thinking of something else. I mean,
I don't know if I've heard of it.
the point isn't really to hear all the perspectives. The point is just to do the show, and whatever the people who are on want to talk about is what we talk about in relation to the topics.
We're not going to turn into Fresh and Fit.
I don't care about these things in the sense of the greater cultural sphere. I just want to have talks. I just want to have conversations with people. I'm not interested in who's right, who's wrong. I'm interested in just having the discussion.
Kai said, shout out to Derp and my favorite cougar PCC OGs.
Who is your favorite cougar then?
People were saying Brett's a cougar. Like, why? In what way?
I'm a dude. You can't be a cougar if you're a dude. And I'm insulted by that. Banned.
Christopher Harris said that's not all the way true. There is a percentage of men who watch Fast and Furious.
Fresh and Fit. Probably.
Oh, sorry. I'm so used to Fast and Furious in the chat saying, Fresh and Fit and whatever. And have the strength to not buy women's OnlyFans and just want to see the red flags of modern ways, women and what to avoid.
The fact alone that he describes, we have the strength to do it, proves the point.
I'm like holding my hand away from the computer screen, like trying not to buy their OnlyFans.
It's like they're telling you, you're wired to like hoes. You have to, you want praise for having to control yourself from not giving into hoes. You are wired to like it.
It's a Chris Rock skit where he says people want praise for something that they're supposed to do. He's like, I take care of my kids. Right. You're supposed to, you dumb motherfucker. It's like, I ain't never been to jail. What do you want, a cookie? You're not supposed to go to jail, you low expectation having motherfucker.
It's true. And I think you already know what the red flags are and how to avoid them. I think you're good on that. Grofty said, Buck, great show today. Have a great holiday weekend.
Yes, guys, we are off.
Have a great commie holiday weekend.
I don't know if Labor Day is a communist holiday. I
heard that.
I know International Women's Day is a communist holiday.
That sounds like a commie holiday.
That's a commie holiday, but I don't know about Labor Day.
Yeah. Corey Anderson said, what do you regret, Mary?
Do you have any regrets, Mary?
I regret trying to get good grades in high school.
Yeah, you were telling me about that.
I was like stewing about that the other day. But I think there are way worse regrets to have in life, so I'm blessed. Yesh just said poop. Okay, thank you for
Thank you, Yesh.
Very interesting insight there. High Voltage 75 said, you taking Labor Day off?
Yes.
The answer is yes. Grofty said party time.
Thank you, Grofty.
Party. Kai said, wrong, he's a cuck and she'll be sold to Arby's.
No, she won't.
What the?
No, she won't. She's gonna marry him. There probably won't be a prenup. She's gonna end up fine.
Too much right now. Bucky Ducky.
I'm more upset with the constant slander on Arby's.
Look, Arby's is not good.
Are you in Arby's? I've never met anybody who actually eats at Arby's.
I never even knew like people ate there.
Well, you know what?
He likes the curly fries.
I like the curly fries, and
that's not the
call
point.
me uncultured. Fine, I don't care. So I'm sick of the slander.
You're getting judged right now.
Yeah.
Bucky Ducky said, I feel like Brett doesn't have much to say on this episode of Red Pill Crisis. Well,
I've said plenty today.
You've said, you've said your piece. But I mean, it's not
everybody's
as interesting to you.
stupid. There,
women like talking about like personal relationship dynamics more than men do.
And I'm just like,
yeah.
Shimmy Shelley said, Brett earned that pay today. Way to go, Short King.
Thank you, guys.
Viperus said, everyone forgets that it's Logan Paul who brought partners into the smack talk, not his opponent.
Oh, was he the one that started it? I didn't know that.
They just talk very nasty to each other.
It's
They'll say like,
normal.
I fucked your mom.
Normal.
Things like that. I fucked your mom. I did that. Like the guy said it. I also heard Dillon Danis is on the Nelk Boys because I don't know who he is. I wanted to hear his side of the story. It's like, I don't give a shit about Nina and Logan Paul, but you got to understand that
he's trying to win.
Yeah.
He's trying to win. His brother Jake has also, I think, screwed his girl. Like there's also some girl drama going on. It's like, he doesn't actually care about
Which
Logan
once
Paul.
again,
It's also feminine.
Once again, they're obsessed with hoes.
Once again, hoes.
Once again, hoes gonna hoe, and men are gonna love it.
DCNC said, hands up on the panel for who has seen Cassie J's documentary, The Red Pill. I've been meaning to watch that.
There's I have, but there's also more than the documentary. There's a really good interview. It's about 5 years old now of Cassie J with a journalist named Michelle Carroll. And she used to give these, it's one of the sad things, like she had this great YouTube channel that would do these great long form interviews with interesting people, and then they just stopped a couple of years ago. So I do recommend going and checking out that interview.
Kai said, I love watching channels grow. Congrats.
Thank you. To both channels.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thousand Foot Deep End said, happy Friday, PCC and Crisis Actors. Welcome to the show, Bella and Linda. Great show, but I gotta drop this and run. Have a great weekend, y'all.
Please watch it on the replay.
This one is in Spanish. I don't know if either of you could take over for me.
Where is that? I don't know.
I have not the faintest clue.
I think I read it when it came in.
It's from DCNC.
They wanted you to read in Spanish, Mary, is what it was.
Yeah.
I'm not even gonna make an attempt at that.
Yeah, it says solo quiero escuchar el encanto de Mary cuando habla español. They just want to hear you talk Spanish so they could troll your Spanish.
That's not nearly enough money. Yurishima Otaru said hostage chat.
We are currently technically in a hostage party, so let's go.
Grofty said, "Are you trying to end the show?" DCNC said hostage chat. Shane H. Wilder said, "Brett, enjoy your big candy money this weekend. LOL." What is this about you being like in the candy mafia or something?
Oh, because I started calling Twitter Twix.
Oh,
and they said you're being paid off by Twix to advertise.
That
Twix
would be
candy.
nice.
I
if
said
it were
yes.
True.
I said the money from the big candy industrial complex was too sweet to pass up, even if it is under the table.
I'm like, dude, I wish I were getting paid off by Peter Thiel.
All right.
Grofty said Buck gives chicken stink eye.
And one more.
And that Stanzatastic said, y'all are at 69K. Nice.
Nice.
Also, Borax, so good.
Yes. Fantastic. Guys,
All right.
before we go, would you hit the like button on this video? Would you subscribe to this channel if you have not done so already? Thank you very much. Ladies, let everyone know where they can find you. Linda, you first.
You can find me on Instagram at Wake Up with Linda, and then on Thursdays, 9:30 p.m. on Most Peaceful Latinas on YouTube, and also Pretty Lit. I've been kind of calm on Twitter. MPL Podcast 305 on X, not Twitter, X.
Twix, actually. It's called Twix, yes. Bella.
Yeah. I'm the most banned person alive next to Loomer and the Taliban. So you can only find me on Truth Social at Bella Liberty, Liberty spelled LIBERTEA at the end instead of a TY. Liberty, because we got the T.
It's literally just you and Trump over there on Truth Social.
You know, we've got Andrew Tate. Andrew Tate is actually on Truth Social and very active. I'll let you guys know.
What's he truthing about today, I say? Mary, where can they find you?
You can send me validation on Instagram at Mary Archived, or you can send me hate on Twix. That is also Mary Archived. There's
several
more.
There's one from Jacob.
Actually,
Edler.
several more.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. High Voltage 75 said, "I'm feeling the hostage energy." I am as well.
Yeah.
Viperous said, "Also, I've never paid or been tempted to go on OnlyFans or pay for any adult activities.
A king.
And it's my 41st birthday tomorrow."
Very good.
Happy early birthday.
That's a king.
41 years strong. No OnlyFans.
Now I'm holding off, and you guys, we're almost at a 5th crisis party, so I'm going to need you to go ahead and do that before we go. I got to pay the bills.
I got to pee, really.
Okay, guys. Grofty,
Finish him off, then.
where are you going? We're going soon.
Okay.
Feedback Actual said, yes. Have a great weekend. Jacob Edler said, Arby's is good. Taco Bell is cringe. Grofty said, one more. DCNC says, hostage. Yesh said, I can't do this tongue twister right now.
Brisk, brave brigadiers brandished broad, bright blades, blunderbusses and bludgeons, balancing them badly. I'll read the rest here.
You guys are malicious.
Not so fast, buckaroos. You aren't out here yet, says Derpalipa. Sorenko Production says, ice cream so good. Happy Labor Day. Grofty says, he. Corey Anderson's fake eyelashes are called cumbrellas. Yes, I remember Sneeko said that a long time ago, or Aiden Ross said that a long time ago. Guys, before we go, would you hit like on this button, subscribe to the channel if you have not done so already. Pop Culture Crisis is here Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, noon in the Pacific. My social medias are at Brett Dacivic on both Twitter /X and Instagram. And if you want to follow the show on social media, we are on Twitter at @PopCulture_show, Facebook and TikTok at Pop Culture Crisis, Instagram at Pop Culture Crisis Pod. The show is here Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. DCNC says party. Disco Jensen says lol. Shane H. Wilder says fine for the party. High Voltage 75 says don't speed read cheater. We're out of here, guys. We'll see you on Tuesday. Bye.